안녕하세요. 저는 대한민국 대표팀 메인 탱커 피어리스입니다.
탱커를 맡고 있는 한민이라고 합니다.
DPS를 맡고 있는 스파클 김영환이라고 합니다.
대한민국 팀 메인 딜러를 맡고 있는 리비저원이라고 합니다.
대한민국에서 서브힐러를 맡고 있는 핀 오세진이라고 합니다.
서블러를 맡고 있는 필더 권준입니다.
힐러를 맡고 있는 지호 한현석입니다.
말 안 해도 아시겠지만
아무래도 지금 리그 탑급 선수들만 모은 게 장점이지 않나.
피지컬이랑 매지컬이 월등히 더 높아서
라인업이 강한 팀이라고 생각합니다.
우승까지 아무 걱정 없이 할 수 있다는 게 정말 좋은 점인 것 같아요.
한일전은 어떤 스포츠든 이제 무조건 대립하는 구도가 있는 것 같은데
아무래도 많은 팬분들이 가장 관심 있어하는 경기인 만큼 저도 되게 기대가 많이 되는 것 같아요.
어떤 스포츠든 뭐든 일단 서로 지기 싫어하는 그런 분위기가 있기 때문에 대한민국 대표팀 선수들도 저도 포함해서
지면 안 될 것 같고 그래서 좀 더 열심히 하게 될 것 같습니다.
재미있을 것 같기도 하고 기대도 많이 됩니다. 예상 스코어는 무조건 2대0.
2대0.
당연히 2대0으로 쉽게 이겨야죠.
일본이 예선전을 치르는 경기를 좀 봤는데 생각보다 잘하더라고요. 네. 그래서
방심이나 좀 긴장을 안 하면 큰 코 다칠 수 있겠다는 생각을 좀 하고 있어요.
여러분들 팬분들 응원 덕분에 좀 더 쉽게 올랐다 생각하고 원산에서도 좋은 모습 많이 보여드리고 열심히 하겠습니다.
이 기세를 타서 우승까지 만들겠습니다.
열심히 해서 지금까지 전승하신 걸 알고 있는데 재난 만났다 생각하고 그냥 편하게 지시할 것 같습니다.
탈퇴근 시켜드릴게요.
And welcome back, everyone, to Overwatch World Cup APAC Group A. My name's G-Clap. With me, we have Unknown. Today's the last day of APAC Group A. It's going to be an awesome day because we'll find out who's on top, who's in the middle, and who's at the bottom by the end of the day.
Exactly. So today we have 3 matches. All 6 teams in the Group A are going to play. We are going to find out who's going to be first. There's nothing locked in terms of standings right now, so we'll find out who will be number 1, number 2 in this group at the last match for the day. But for the first match of the day, we have a do or die match. We actually have a showdown between Hong Kong and Chinese Taipei to decide who is going to be that last team to qualify for the next stages of this tournament.
Yeah, that's going to be one of the biggest match for sure because we were always saying, even from the beginning, a lot. We have the 2 clear favorite out of this group, which seems to be Team Japan and Team South Korea. But which country is going to take that 3rd spot? Because we're Group A, of course, we are going to have top 3 out of the 6. So it's going to be the battle for that 3rd place spot. As right now, as if you miss the standings, it almost looks like if someone had a script written for APAC-A, I mean, they did a horrible job.
No hate. Come
a horrible
on,
job
G-Clap.
because it's too good. It's too good to be real. And every single match actually counts. It's even for the middle match that we have here between Philippines and Indonesia because they unfortunately lost all the matches until today. One of the teams will actually be getting a win at the end of that match number 2 of tonight. So we will actually have some different numbers in between. For now, we have 2 teams with 4 wins and 2 2s and 0 4s.
Yeah, so today we will be having the decider match on the first match of the day with Hong Kong versus going against Chinese Taipei. And like you said, G-Clef, one of the teams, Philippines or Indonesia, is going home. Today is going to be, unfortunately, this will be the last match for them on the Overwatch World Cup 2023, but one team will be going home with a win. I just want to emphasize that for this year, there's been a lot more countries participating in the World Cup than other years on previous World Cups, and I think this is going to have immense meaning for them, especially the aspiring players on these kind of teams that haven't had been a lot of professional Overwatch experience before. So concluding this tournament with a win, even though if it's just one win for them, is going to have immense meaning for them, and it's going to be very, very important in their development as a professional player.
Every single match, I'm actually looking forward to it very much because not just it's going to change a lot of placements, it will actually show where they are because it's been 2 weeks. It is the last day out of the 6 days that we had. And a lot of teams, every single team, they've been trying a lot of different comps, different things, different rosters, depending on the map. And we have been pointing out a lot of improvements throughout each roster and what makes them special. So I think this is going to be the final proving day for every single team, and I'm very hyped for it.
Exactly, and like you said, G-Cliff, a lot of the teams in this group, we've seen almost all the matches, like you see in the standings here. We've seen a lot of matches come and go, and we've seen all of these teams develop so much, and it'll be very interesting to see how the conclusion to all this saga comes to end. And one thing to point out today is that Korea or Japan, they're undefeated right now, but one of them will be concluding this tournament with a single loss.
It has to be because they're fighting against each other. Top two, middle two, and the bottom two. That's going to be the matchup for today, as we're about to see that on the next screen. But it's Kabi Pasta 4 plus 8, 0-0s, and -8.
Yeah, I mean,
So-
if you look at APAC-B, which played right before by our wonderful casters, Pixie and April.
And Domino.
And Domino as the host. Thank you. And so it was a little bit more. It was a little bit more complex. There were each team with, I think, 5-1 leading the pack, Australia, and then there were 4-2, 3-3, 2-1, and 1-5. Sorry, 2-4 and 1-5. My math is failing me here, G.
Yeah, we have a lot of numbers to talk about. So that's the schedule. Let's call our first match the third placement match. I think that fits the name. Hong Kong versus Chinese Taipei. Let's see who comes on top, because both teams are on an opposite slope, so to say. I know we're going to be talking a lot about that. And in the middle, we have Philippines versus Indonesia. To finish off APAC-A, we had Japan versus South Korea, a match that we actually have crowd offline with the players.
Yeah, this is, well, we're going to go into the details of this match later on, G-Clef, but Japan versus South Korea is going to be hosted in the WDG Esports Studio in Seoul. So Team South Korea will be playing in front of their home fans.
Yes.
So this is not only going to be a LAN event, it is going to be a LAN event with fans. And unfortunately, Team Japan will be playing online, but it is still hype because we'll be having those crowd cheers and crowd signs at the venue, G-Clef.
You'll be able to see all that today as we step into our first match of the night. Is Hong Kong versus Chinese Taipei. And let's talk about the teams, because they had some stories, up and downs within the 2 weeks. But comes out to be, as long as you win, as long as you just win this final match, you move into that next stage.
Yeah, both teams have been going up a little bit ups and downs. Hong Kong has been winning the first 2 matches on week 1, and then they went to lose the next 2 matches on week 2. But again, it was against Korea and Japan. And Chinese Taipei here actually had the same kind of schedule, except it was the other way around. They went against Korea and Japan on week 1. They lost all of those 0-2. And then next week on week 2, they went to play Indonesia and Philippines, and they all both won 2-0. So basically, these two are just mirroring each other in terms of fixtures. But Hong Kong right now is on a little bit of a losing streak because they were recently playing against Korea and Japan, and Chinese Taipei, who were playing Korea and Japan earlier on, are on a winning streak. So maybe there's a little bit of a confidence level difference. However, it looks like right now, just on paper, Hong Kong should be the match favorite here.
Yeah, it seems like it so far, but you never know. As Chinese Taipei, they've been on a roll with the winning streak. And also, to point out on the double tracer, it's because they do Hope and Snow, they do shift on tracers. And also, Light comes in depending, usually on Escort or Hybrid later on. So we'll see how that works, because we've seen the starting roster from Hong Kong, which was Charlene, Kurumi, and R3K, M Crazy, and Mango Jai. So we've seen a lot of work, especially the fact that Hong Kong's relying heavily on those headshots from Charlene. Either it's Genji, Hanzo, or Mei. He's usually the one opening up the fight, making it into a 5v4 first. So the pressure is there, certainly. This is the last match, and you need to deliver right now.
Yeah, good point, J-Clef, because a lot of pressure is on the line for this match right now, because losing this match means that this is the end of the journey for you in the Overwatch World Cup. So it'll be interesting to see, especially like on key players like Xiaolan, like you mentioned, how they can manage these kind of high pressure situations. And for the lineup right now, we're going to Lijiang Tower, and we are playing on Control Center here, so maybe a little bit of rush to be expected on the side of Chinese Taipei. I don't think R3K is comfortable on the Reinhardt. Maybe if they want to go rush, they will go to the Ramatra rush, but Why not? Because we've seen R3K on, well, R3K is basically on the traditional off-tank role and has been displaying a lot of comfortable displays on that Junker Queen. So I think this is going to be, maybe Chromie is going to swap to the Tracer or the Sombra after the TP, but it looks like it is going to be a Junker Queen composition versus the Ryan Ratchet.
Yeah, both are actually staying with Symmetra for now. Mangajai on Moira. That's early on. Chromie takes out the field early. As Rainbow tried to keep Nexus alive, but that's going to be gone tank from Chinese Taipei.
So yes, the Immortality Field was a good attempt to save Nexus, but there was too much damage and pressure onto Nexus, so Nexus fell early, and that gave Hong Kong positional advantage for the side of Hong Kong, and they capped the point first. So it is going to be a difficult task for Chinese Taipei to make a recontest. Maybe they have to make good use of Hope's TP to maybe outmaneuver Hong Kong, but also Hong Kong has that Symmetra on their lineup, so it isn't going to be an easy task. However, they are out trading Hong Kong at the moment. There was an early window on the side of Rainbow, and I think that was a lot of value.
Yeah, the early Matrix and Matrix just saved Chinese Taipei, but in the long run, Hong Kong, they're already back. They still have Moira, still have that early Rampage with 3-man, both support line got caught. Nexus, who hasn't focused so much in this game. Look at the HP bars of Chinese Taipei oftentimes. Hong Kong, they're actually not even hitting the other 4. They have been focusing on the Reinhardt only for the first 2 fights. Even if they lost their DPS early on, they still continued to fight because they had the Jungle Queen available with the supports.
Yeah, so they used good usage of their ultimates there. They had their ultimates online a little bit earlier after Rainbow used the window. They had the ult advantage for a short window of time, and they use it to a great advantage. Now it's going to be Chinese Taipei's ultimate turn.
Okay, hammer down.
And there was a good shatter. So good play by Chinese Taipei to make good usage of their ultimates now. They are not overexpending, so they will have Mauli's Sound Barrier and the Blizzard for the next turn. And for Hong Kong, they are already capping at 79%, so I think they can give up a fight or two. I guess the main point of question for Hong Kong will be on their next fight, and possibly the fight after that as well. They want to bait out as much ultimates from the Chinese Taipei team as they can, and then they want to make it, I guess, win a single team fight and win, because they're already at 79%. Winning a team fight means that it's going to be at least final fight territory.
Yeah, of course, that Earth Shatter did save Chinese Taipei, but overall, during the neutral fight, Hong Kong, they have been winning a lot more. There's a wall to isolate. Jungle Queen still staying alive. Blizzard with the Sound Barrier together. That's a lot used to counter.
So Hong Kong is gambling here. They're matching the ultimates, and it looks like they're winning the gamble. Mangujai with the 2 kills on that Coalescence, looking for a third. Without that, RTK takes it, but it's a win for Hong Kong, and it is definitely going to be final fight territory. They are already approaching 90% on that point.
Yeah, Chinese Taipei, they did get 40, so knowing that they had a few more ultimates to spend, they went all for it with the Blizzard, but I think the Sound Barrier was a little too early from Mao, and Hong Kong, they come back.
This shatter is very, very important. This needs to register. It
doesn't
find much.
This is totally, and even with the window and the photo.
Chinese Taipei is using their ultimates in desperation there, but Hong Kong is not deterred right now. He saw that falls, Chromie falls. Yes, maybe I spoke a little bit too early. They might be deterred here. Only 3 remaining. There is a lot of sustained R3K falls. Only the supports are remaining. It is overtime, and Hong Kong, yes, they do fall, but they do have a sizable lead here, G-Cloud.
Still 99%. Hong Kong, all they need to win is 1 fight and get the point. Chinese Taipei. The positioning of Chinese Taipei, they were actually holding towards the higher stairs off to the sides of Hong Kong. They were running around in circle. They couldn't really support each other on that fight. So kind of unusual in position for Hong Kong, as they still had Chromie Xianglian for the first few seconds of that fight.
Chinese Taipei needs to make action quick, because they know they don't have ultimates. They need to make a neutral fight, but
this Blossom is going to secure it, and Hong Kong, it seems like they're just going to take it. They were not ready for this Death Blossom. Xianglian came out from nowhere. And Chinese Taipei, they thought it was okay to just engage.
I think either Chinese Taipei needed to be more far forward, or just be totally back. Like, it has to be either of the two, because they know that Hong Kong had a lot of ultimates, and Chinese Taipei were a little bit, I mean, they weren't far away from their key ultimates. I think Blizzard was almost online, and I think, I can't remember which one, but there were one more ultimate. They had 2 ultimates upcoming. So either they go far forward and win that fight, do the gamble, so that they can buy themselves more time for that next round of ultimates, or they fall back, wait until Hong Kong contests the point and wait for their ultimates to charge. I think it was a little bit of not being too much, a little bit in between.
Okay, certainly. As we move into the second, Krumi actually bring that's a Reaper and a Cassidy from the other side, and that's going to put some more pressure onto Echo, and that's going to be Hope from Chinese Taipei. R3K going down early. The damage output from the vertical output is actually a lot. Oh, Snow actually going down from a single headshot. That does happen if you're a Tracer.
Yeah, Tracer doesn't have the most HP in the world, so it does happen. What I really wanted to talk about right now, G-Clef, is about Chinese Taipei's composition. They have a Orisa. I don't think we've seen a lot of Orisas in the qualifiers so far, but I think it's a really smart pick against the Ramattra, and I think Hong Kong agrees because they swapped back to the Junker Queen.
Okay, Nexus survives that damage somehow.
Well, I mean, Orisa is a very survivable tank, if anything, so that is something to be expected. So if Nexus falls super easily with that Orisa pick, I would be very disappointed. However, talking a little bit more about the Orisa pick, it is a very effective counter to the Ramattra, so Hong Kong, good awareness of their positions, composition, and their win conditions, and swapping back to the Junker Queen.
Yeah, we've been seeing some more Orisa happening from the other regions, not as much in APAC-A, but the Echo Mercy being contested in the air. Got some more kills happening from Hope so far. Charlie, let's see if he is ready. There's the beam, not enough damage.
Hope is nanoed, so that's going to be a lot of damage for the side of Echo. And Echo also has that duplicate if they want to use it. The longer this fight goes, the better for Chinese Taipei, because there are the ones with
Anna.
Actually, this is a good choice. More sustain and
keep
more
the tank
healing,
alive.
more utility there on the side of Chinese
Now
Taipei.
the
Yes,
Mercy.
Hope does fall. I think that is a little bit of a...
I guess it doesn't matter. I guess it doesn't matter because they won the team fight anyhow. But Chinese Taipei, I actually didn't even catch. Hope did use the duplicate.
Yeah, Hope used a duplicate and failed, but was rezzed really quickly. The important part is that out of all this, Hong Kong actually managed to flip the point, and it is going to be, and Chinese Taipei doesn't have a lot of ults to work with. They do have the Orisa ult and the Valkyrie, but Hong Kong has a lot more valuable ults here. There's the early EMP, which I take Nexus down. Chinese Taipei, they have to regroup. I don't think they will get anything more from this fight.
Yeah, that was a lot used. Both back lines, just keeping that rampage from R3K. That's about it. And Charlie just doing the cleanup duty for the rest of the members of Chinese Taipei left on the ground and forced to regroup. But Chinese Taipei still holding 77%. So Hong Kong.
Yeah, so Chinese Taipei still can't afford to lose a fight if it means that they can bait out ultimates from Hong Kong, mainly the Rampage over there. So I think Chinese Taipei can just engage really quick. They just bait out the Rampage from R3K and then go for another fight, because next fight they will be having those ultimates. The worst scenario that Chinese Taipei can go with is that they are stalling the fight. They're not starting up the fight at all. They lose and they don't have the time to make another fight.
Oh, that's a good push.
That is a good aggression from the side of Nexus there. Nexus does fall, but it is a numbers advantage on the side of Chinese Taipei. Only Snow gets that rampage, hit by the rampage, but Snow falls. It is going to be similar numbers in terms of fights for Chinese Taipei. However, Nexus, I think, was rezzed over there and will be having that point flip. And now it is going to be at least, I think it's going to be final fight territory for either side.
Yeah, Orisa is such a good pick, as you're not really contested in the building as much. R3K has been focused so much more from Snow compared to Krumi's Sombra. And in the air fight, Rimomo also switched from Ana to Kiriko. A great switch, I would say, because Ana oftentimes you're just focused by that Echo.
Oh, and that was a good spear on the side of Nexus. Nexus will be having that ultimate, which is very good for defensive maneuvers, but it doesn't find anyone. And Nexus falls. This is bad news for Chinese Taipei, and that would be good news for the side of Hong Kong.
Yeah,
Xiaolan takes that
it.
kill, R3K takes that kill. Everyone is killing everyone on the side of Chinese Taipei. Yes, no answers back, but will that be enough? I don't think so. A lot of low health bars on the side of Chinese Taipei. Nexus is swapping to the Doomfist to touch.
Can anyone come in time?
I think he
Nexus
can.
is
He's
here
already
with the
on the
Doomfist.
point, but he will be falling.
It's
and
gone.
Lucio's the only one left. EMP to take that, make that kick.
Lucio's the last one. There's no one else. Rimomo's coming from the spawn, and that will be it. Hong Kong takes the victory from the first control.
Well, it was a fight though, G-Clef. It wasn't easy, and although it looked like on paper it's just like Hong Kong win very easily, I think Chinese Taipei actually put up a real fight, and a little bit. I think the difference between the two teams with that ult management, ult economy management, ult discipline was a little bit better on the side of Hong Kong. So I think that was the difference here. On mechanics, I think the two teams are surprisingly evenly matched. I'm really impressed with how Chinese Taipei's players were playing mechanically. A little bit on the strategic side, like I mentioned, ult management, a little bit of ult discipline, and also composure there. I think Hong Kong, even in high pressure situations where it was seemingly like a fight that they should have been losing, they were keeping their cool. They were using the right abilities at the right time, using the right ultimates at the right time, and I think that was a difference that led Hong Kong to victory.
Yeah, there were lots, especially on the first, the second. There were a lot of hectic because we had duplicates, the fights in the air, fight on the ground, on the point, off to the side, and we can only catch so many at the same time. But Echo fight, I think it was overall slightly more win for Xianlian combo. Yeah, for Hong Kong. I think that gave them a lot of boost benefits to actually control the ground. Of course, Orisa was one of the best picks for this fight because was able to sustain alone, even without the support. You can actually sustain for such a long time. And Jungle Queen on the other side, against Orisa, did not really have a great time contesting against. And also because it was, of course, because it was a Tracer, you can't really rampage. Okay, there was one, but other than that, you can't really kill the Tracer by your own on that point.
Yeah, not a lot of value out of the Junker Queen pick. Unlike the other maps that we've been seeing, other performances that we've been seeing from R3K. R3K is a great Junker Queen player, but this map specifically, there wasn't a lot of, I guess, value. I think it was more on Xiaolan, like you said, Xiaolan's Echo and the other parts about the team. But hey, you know, those are the things that you kind of let down on your next map. You can just, like, especially in these kind of short-term tournaments, these are the things that you can feedback later. You can get feedback on later. For now, it's like, hey, we won, it worked, so everybody, good job, let's go next. And for Chinese Taipei as well, I think they were playing surprisingly well. So hey, we did lose. Hong Kong did a little bit better than us. Hey, that's okay. Total reset. We can go next. I guess, yes, like you mentioned, I also want to mention the Orisa pick here because it addresses a lot of the problems that Chinese Taipei was having. We've seen a lot of instances where Chinese Taipei wasn't even able to make a single team fight in a round or even a entire map because they were losing members before they were regrouping as 5. And Orisa with that superior survivability was able to buy the time or survive long enough for Chinese Taipei actually to group as 5 and do a team fight. We've seen several team fights in this first map in Lijiang, and I think Chinese Taipei is really, really on a positive direction because this means, I'm not saying that Orisa is going to be the best pick for Chinese Taipei in the end, but it means that Chinese Taipei understand what is not working on their side and they're working towards it.
And I do agree. As a whole, Chinese Taipei did have a lot better team fight. They were a lot more coordinated. Plus the positioning of their team fight, they were leading Hong Kong into the fight territory where they had a lot more advantage, but not for the second because the air fight actually determined so much. And it was really hard for the supports to keep themselves alive. And we could see both teams, okay, you're going to bring an Echo, so we'll change it to Echo. Okay, if you're going Kiriko, we'll change it to Kiriko. So there are lots of follow-ups after immediate death, which we haven't seen from both sides for the 5 days. Now, because this one, especially because this one matters so much that they will actually go to the next stage or not.
Exactly.
These type of instant feedbacks are crucial. I love it so far. I love it so far. Hong Kong won the first map though. Well, let's see if they can actually take us to our first ever push if we get there.
Yeah, so for us in APAC-A, we haven't been blessed with the map 3 yet, even on our last
Today
day.
has to be the day. Oh,
And
no.
I mean, it
I'm
has
ready.
to be the day where we'll not be ever seeing push on Overwatch World Cup APAC Qualifiers A. But Chinese Taipei, their backs are on the wall now. They are one map away from elimination on this tournament. They are choosing Gibraltar, Watchpoint Gibraltar, which is, I think, a very understandable choice because if you look at the roster, Hong Kong doesn't have a traditional main tank player. R3K is a traditional off-tank player, so we have been seeing a lot of Ramattra, we have been seeing a lot of Junker Queen, maybe sometimes even the Diva on maps like Ilios Lighthouse, but we haven't seen a lot. Yes, R3K does play the Winston a little bit, but it's something that you don't expect R3K to play unless he's forced to be. And I think this map choice kind of forces R3K into playing the Winston, which I think is a clever choice on the side of Chinese Taipei because Nexus can definitely play the Winston.
Yeah, Nexus has been known for his Winston, but on the other side, R3K, not as much on Winston, so you do have to wait and see how well he's going to be working with the teammates. Kurumi again on Cassidy, and this time Xiaolian actually on Tracer, which we haven't seen not too many times, only a couple of times at the beginning and during the summer series.
Yeah, so Xiaolan is more... We've seen a lot of better performances on Xiaolan from the Genji, but okay, Hong Kong making a good push on that high ground. I think that was a good anti-nade on the side of Mangoje. That must have been it because Chinese Taipei were already in a defensive position, and one of the best ways to break that open is a good anti-nade. And look at where the payload is, G-Clef. It is already close to completing point A.
Yeah, someone else was actually pushing from the bottom. And that, I guess, Chinese Taipei, they just did not expect that attack to happen that fast. As if they were expecting a sound boost or something, but there's no Lucio on either side. So that was a little question mark on my head. But still, they can still defend before the first point touch.
Yeah, they are able to touch, and I think that they have the positional advantage on the high ground enough that they will be able to deter this fight unless there is a surprise kill somewhere from the side of, I guess it has to be Kurumi or maybe even from Xiaolan after that pulse bomb is ready, which will be very soon.
And
okay, actually it is from the side of Chinese Taipei, so there is that much sustain taken away from the side of Hong Kong. However, Hope is taken out as well, so a little bit of damage output lost for Chinese Taipei. Oh, no, that was a good
Tracer
nano.
gone. And Hong Kong can just really push and touch the first point. And Chinese Taipei, they were ready, but the better economy for Hong Kong, they gathered up early on from winning the first fight very hard.
Yeah, I mean, Hong Kong, I think it was a good understanding of how, I guess, a good ult tracking and good understanding of the situation because they know that they have the nano early. They know that they have the advantage. Although Chinese Taipei were in a good defensive position, they know that if they use the nano Winston, it should be just enough for them to kind of zone them out or take them out because they only have so little to push to cap.
And they want to continue pushing. There's that rage just to push them.
Oh, good!
What a sleep dart to get that monkey off the map.
It was also a flail from the side of Mali as well. It was a combined effort from the support line of Chinese Taipei. So this is going to be Chinese Taipei's turn now.
Yeah, it's the moment without that Winston available. It's still Dragon Strike, Nano, and Rally. Don't have to use all of it. Just has to go all the way. And Hong Kong, this is going to be their first team wipe of Gibraltar.
Finally, Chinese Taipei has the opportunity to stabilize a little bit, and with that, with high ground control already established there, and also they have ult advantage. They have the Dragon Strike, they have the Nano, they have the Rally as well. Yes, Hong Kong will be having their key ultimates online soon, but so this means that Chinese Taipei has to use this short window of time to make any advantages that they can.
There's still 3 minutes left. And yeah, that anti towards the back line, it just hurts so much.
There
Nexus is nanoed.
Yo, so there were 2 ultimates expended on the side of Chinese Taipei. I don't think it was. I think it was well used, not a terribly waste of ultimates there. They just used what they needed to win this fight. However, it is going to be very scary now because Hong Kong is approaching 4 key ultimates, and I definitely think that Mango Jai will want to go with that nano. After that nano is completed, they want to nano the Winston, and there's the
6 and 2 kills.
No!
Has been having a lot of these assassinations on his own. That's a real Tracer that we'd love to see all day.
Okay, Snow with the absolute heroics there, because like I said, G-Clive, Hong Kong was approaching a lot of the ultimates, and what Hong Kong was waiting for was that, hey, we can just poke around a little bit and get some damage, just get some moderate damage dealt by the other team and get that healing up. So Mango Jai has that nano. So after that nano, they wanted to pull the aggression trigger. However, Snow also understood what Hong Kong wanted to do, so they sneaked up at the back and just took out the backline of Hong Kong, delaying them even further.
Yeah, this could be one of the harder points to push on Gibraltar here as Hong Kong. They're getting it ready, still pushing. The Anti not following up with the damage, but a shot from Nexus with Hanzo.
Rumi falling down means that a lot of damage is going to be missing, but Hong Kong decides they want to commit because they are using the nano on the Winston. Hope is terribly low, and there goes Raymond as well. Maui was trying to save everyone with the rally, but it was not enough. I don't think there are any further casualties on the side of Hong Kong, but they do have to give up ground.
Yeah, they will continue to push at Chinese Taipei. Their respawn's not that far away, so they're going to come and contest again. Pulse bomb just to get them out of the way so they can't come in. To delay, there's a sleep dart and the pulse blocked by M Crazy there. What a shot.
Okay, so despite Chinese Taipei's best efforts here, Hong Kong did manage to push, although cap would be. But to be honest, I think it was a pretty solid defense for the side of Chinese Taipei, because I think they held like 2 full minutes there. It was such a big time bank when Hong Kong capped point A. So even though in the end they had to give up point B, it was a good defense, and they have ingredients to work with towards preventing that full cap.
Yeah, Chinese Taipei now with these ults, they have to manage it, and here comes Nexus first with Nano. He actually pushed the back line all the way. They're kept pretty, well managed by R3 Kashi, coming back to the back line, protecting.
The Nano once again, good play of Maui to delay, but it only delayed the inevitable. And Nexus is down. I don't think Chinese Taipei does have enough firepower and the tank power and the support power, whatever you want to call it. They don't have the power to stop the cap.
Nothing else is stopping it. 3 meters.
No!
1.5.
Okay. It wasn't a C9.
Snow's there. Here's Hope with a Bastion.
Bastion taken down. Kurumi on this high ground.
Yeah, no one's contesting here.
Damaging very, very comfortably. Somebody has to take care of that, but no, nobody is there. It looks like only the Tracer is left to contest.
Snow is not able to keep that up, and that's going to be full 3-pointer for Hong Kong on Gibraltar.
Wow, okay, so there was a little, I think this kind of shows like both the highs and lows of Chinese Taipei. Chinese Taipei did a good job on defensive positioning on like key moments, but in the end it was a little bit of the slip-ups that kind of gave up a lot of things. For example, on the very first fight, they were in a good position to defend. They just got dismantled by Mango Jai with that single, with a single anti-need. And after that, after they gave up point A, they gave up, I think they gave up almost half of point B right after that. They weren't even able to stabilize. But after the initial long push of Hong Kong, they made some really, really sick plays, and they got to stabilize. And they took about, tick off 2 minutes off the clock time bank for Hong Kong. I think that was a really impressive defense and one of the highs for Chinese Taipei. However, after one domino fell, it just felt like there were no breaks, and like the entire dominoes fell. So I think if they can remember what kind of good moments they had and what kind of plays, what kind of coordination, what kind of communication that kind of kept them in the good spots, I think they will be in a lot better space. But let's talk about Hong Kong here, G-Clive. They were really impressive.
Individually and also teamwork, they were all in line to wait for their turn, keep the ults, only use it when it's available and when they have to use it. They were responding slowly, but because they didn't have to use it, which was better time. And here's, first of all, your R3K contesting here, but Nexus actually falls first. Did not make it back. It does happen when you use the projector a little too early, and when your backline especially is contested by someone else. As I wanted to point out that Chinese Taipei, individually, mechanically, we've seen some great moments, especially from Tracer and also Nexus, Great Momo, Mountly. They all had their moments in the first half, but in terms of teamwork, the coordination was just not on the same page compared to Hong Kong.
Yeah, also I think one of the key factors of success for Hong Kong right now is that R3K's Winston is actually pretty impressive.
I'm getting goosebumps too.
Yeah, so usually we would think R3K as a player that is, you know, usually more prolific on the Junker Queen, on the Ramantra. We've been talking this pre-match, right? However, it looks like R3K knows, I mean, yes, there was that oopsies for getting slept and getting booped off the map, but in general, he knows where to jump. He knows how to harass the backline. Like this right now. Like, yes, Momo is getting a hard time. Yes, he slept, but in the end, the follow-up damage is there for the side of Hong Kong. So once again, credit to R3K for being in the right places and the right time.
Yep, still with the projector. Good Winston always jumps back and comes back to his teammates. And that's R3K for now. Nexus trying to do the same, but here's Snow. One of the crucial moments that we saw that pulse bomb landing onto. If it happens multiple times, that is going to be the biggest chance for Chinese Taipei for push.
R3K naded, so was unable to get healed, and there again, there's what you wanted. You called for a G-Clef, and you got it. The Snow pulse bomb. So it looks like Chinese Taipei will be able to cap point A unless Hong Kong pulls a miracle.
Unless Xiaolian comes in and does the same. There's a stick on the payload, which misses big time. Nanoing Tracer. Will that be enough to sustain? We'll see. It's actually working the other way, Chinese Taipei. They backed up. Drawing the line says, okay, this is a line. You don't cross here. The moment you cross, you're going to go down as Hong Kong already had less members to contest.
Well, yeah, so we're seeing one of the bright sides of Hong Kong, excuse me, Chinese Taipei here. And if you look at the ults here, Chinese Taipei is actually on the advantage. And Nexus, early Nano onto Nexus means that the backline of Hong Kong will be very, very stressed out. And without the backline here, I think Hong Kong has to back away. And that's a little bit more free push on the side of Chinese Taipei.
I think it's time where we have some hero changes coming out from Xiaolian, either Genji, Hanzo, anything will be okay. Compared to Snow's Tracer, I don't think Xiaolian's Tracer is as impactful in this matchup for now. And a spot from Krumi, trying to come into the choke point.
R3K slept very low, but is able to get that heal back. Krumi's Bob is there to zone out any, I'm guessing it is to zone out the members of Chinese Taipei away from the payload, but that is going to end, and the Am Crazy is starting with the rally, maybe for the extra sustain. Snow falls, but also R3K falls, and R3K falling with 95% on that Primal Rage means that there's a lot of positioning denied on the side of Hong Kong.
Chinese Taipei, they lost minorly towards the end, but without that, Hong Kong actually was not fighting at the right place. So on the other side, when they're defending, they're playing.
R3K is there to contest, and he has the Primal, so he can buy some time for his teammates to join the fight. Snow has that Pulse Bomb ready. He has been a very big threat with the Pulse Bomb every single time, especially this map. So he is definitely one to be looking out for.
In the point, Krumi has been gaining a lot of positions on the high ground. So that's good for Krumi, but Chinese Taipei, they don't care. They're just going in straight
The Pulse Bomb didn't stick, but it took out Krumi, and big nade from Momo there. Yes, Manguchai falls, but does give Am Crazy the nano before she falls. That is going to be a little bit more sustained for the side of Am Crazy, but Am Crazy falls, and Chinese Taipei, despite Hong Kong's using a few ultimates there, will be able to take 1B. And look at the time bank, G-Clive, it is 3 minutes, and I think if they can make it, if they can make point C done in 2 minutes, they'll be having a bigger time bank than Hong Kong.
Yeah, 3 minutes actually not bad to push all the way for that 3 points. Chinese Taipei, it depends if they want to rotate. Okay, but here comes Hong Kong first. And here comes that Sherlian's Genji with that. We have been waiting for the last few minutes. As we can't get high ground control as much here.
Yeah, so I think after point B, which is like all about high ground, after that, after they gave up point B, they're like, okay, scrap this. We're just doing what we really do well. R3K back to his trademark Juggler Queen, and Xiaolian on the Genji. Like you mentioned, we have seen a lot of bright moments on this aspiring player on the Genji pick. And look at Krumi as well. Krumi was doing really well, was not doing bad on the Ashe. However, they know that Nexus and this Winston dive has been very threatening, so they are... this is what we want to see from Xiaolan. Going back to the Reaper pick, we are seeing that they really want to counter that Winston pick because they address it as a threat now.
And Hope switches back to Echo. Now Nexus will have huge amount of pressure jumping anywhere towards the back line of Raymomo and Maoli because there will be Krumi available near that back line. I don't think Krumi is going to be the one initiating unless there's like a Death Blossom available somewhere. Xiaolian ready with the play.
Okay, I think they might want to wait this out a little bit because this is going to be very threatening, especially on the backline. If the backline of Hong Kong will not be able to have any support because they're harassed by Nexus, but Nexus is gone. Oh, so that was the opportunity for Xiaolan to take that blade, but Xiaolan is taken out by Raymomo, so it will be a little bit of a stalemate until both teams get their members back.
Yeah, soon Hong Kong's going to have all 5 volts. There we go. We have that locked in Chinese Taipei. They only have a pulse. If Snow can actually have a wonderful pulse, that would be nice, but here comes the engage round to play.
That play taking out Maoli. 1, 2, okay, so that's
Genji was anti-grenaded, so couldn't really deliver more, but 2 is certainly enough as they're still keeping the other 4 just to keep the time bank.
And R3K is showering buckshots on the members of Chinese Taipei. So after Xiaolian took out 2 members of Chinese Taipei, it was cleanup duty for the rest of Hong Kong. And look at the ultimate bars there, 4 ultimates. Unless they just decide to, okay, let's just press Q, it will be at least 2 fights in the favor of Hong Kong in terms of ult economy. Of course, every time ult economy doesn't guarantee a win, so they will be having to use their ults very carefully. However, it looks very nice on the side of Hong Kong. There is that Rampage taking out, hitting 2, and it looks like they're all going to connect into kills. And Raymomo as
this is gonna be it. There's Death Blossom still. Okay, Hope actually flied over and got here somehow, but it's not even close to payload and needs to be on near the payload.
Hope is using second just for the touch.
And here's the Death Blossom to keep everyone away. The sound barrier, it seems like it's just not enough. Let's see the fight here as Hong Kong use all the ultimates. No Reaper, Snow gone. Nexus about to go down. Chinese Taipei. They were just not gathered up, not ready for this final fight.
Well, you know, I mean, what can you do? There's not much you can do if there's a 4 ultimate fight, right? But yes, I do agree that Chinese Taipei could have positioned a little bit better. I think because the time bank there was so little time remaining, they didn't really have, I guess, enough composure. They were a little bit panicked and they just did what they thought individually was best, and it didn't really add up to the best results as a team. But I want to praise Hong Kong here, especially on that point C defense. You can see here, this is the venue. This is the WDG Esports studio waiting for that South Korea game, and they're also here to watch the other matches of the group as well.
Yep, with Hong Kong with the win today, and they're going to be securing that 3rd placement spot. That was the most important thing about this matchup, and congratulations to Hong Kong. They're actually moving to the next stage.
Exactly. Well-fought victory, well-fought qualification. They will be going up against the greater teams on the other sides, other parts of the world. So we don't know how group stages is going to look like right now, but it looks like Hong Kong is ready to take that next step into their tournament. And this is going to be a great development, a great step towards their development as a player, as a team in the world stage, because playing in a bigger stage like this always is a great experience. Not just, I mean, you can do well. Maybe I don't know how Hong Kong is going to do on the group stages. We have to see a little bit more to kind of make a prediction on that. But what I can guarantee is that the players of Hong Kong, there are some experienced players like Mangujai, there are some new players like Shellland. They will all trust this experience, and it will be a great boost towards their career.
And also for Chinese Taipei, the fall against Hong Kong is not going to be making it into the group stage from the qualifier, but still we could see, especially on the first control, they have done a lot more homework, was ready for to go up against Hong Kong, but at the end, Hong Kong was just better prepared in terms of composition and what you can actually do in Gibraltar. We could still see Chinese Taipei still struggling to find the right hero for the last standing fight. It was just not able to deliver. That's our first match of the night, but we still have 2 more matches. So don't go anywhere, guys. We will be right back with our second match. And welcome back, everyone, to World Cup qualifiers for APAC-A here. I'm G-Clef with Unknown. We just went through our first, and it was actually the third placement decider. Congrats to Hong Kong. Chinese Taipei did go down 2-0. And now we are actually on to a match of the bottom two teams, Indonesia and Philippines. Who do you think is going to take this one out?
Well, it's going to be a very, very difficult prediction to make, G-Clef, because I mean, no disrespect to the two teams. They have been not showing, like, I guess they have been a little bit low on confidence because they have been going against stronger teams that are stronger than their power level. However, I think this is going to be, I guess, one of their best chances to, well, one team is going to go home with a win on their belt exiting this tournament. So maybe if I have to make a bold decision, maybe Indonesia, because I think Indonesia have been competitive against some teams like Hong Kong. I still think I think also that Indonesia is a little bit ahead on the race because they have a round win on control. So maybe Indonesia, but I think it all goes down to who kind of adapted better to their weaknesses, who adjust their weaknesses better coming up to today, because we've seen a lot of improvements coming on both teams, and I think maybe if that accumulates and which team kind of makes the better adjustment here, it kind of will be taking today's match.
Yeah, I also on yesterday just rewatching the matches that happened for on day 5 and day 4. Philippines, Indonesia, I think they have been making pretty first of all, they were both doing a lot of homework against the opponent for the next day. And because today's the last day and they have all the data to use on any map they are going to be playing on control or hybrid escort, they will go into possibly the push. This could actually be our first push. There's definitely a potential for that, but I do have to raise my hands just slightly, like by like 48 to 52, and 52 does go to Indonesia for me too, as they had a lot more shining moments from the DPS line, and I think that's going to be the main difference between the two teams.
Again, in professional play, at this level of play, you want to consider not only the mechanics but also the tactical and strategic points of the game, right? So if you look at the rosters here, I've seen, I'm just looking at my rosters here, and it looks like Indonesia has a little bit more flexibility. Indonesia was a little bit more comfortable playing these flyers, so they're not only are they just able to play the traditional meta comps, they are also able to throw in a little bit of the curveballs here. And if you look at the DPS lineup here, Walked and Redux, they're all very good players, but I think I've been a little bit more impressed by Speed 75 and maybe sometimes even proxies on the flyers. And so it looks like Indonesia will be looking like the favorites on my opinion, but again, G-Clef, these are very two closely matched teams. It will be interesting to see how both teams fare, especially now they're going against teams that are similar in power level. Previously, these two teams have been playing against teams that are clearly above their power levels. They're stronger teams than them. So yes, they were struggling, but it was to be expected. But now I think these are the teams that they think, hey, if there is a team that I can beat in Group A, it's going to be you. I think both teams are going to be on the same thought. So it will be interesting to see how they play.
This is going to be for the honor of getting the first win from the qualifiers. As the starting roster for Indonesia, Proxy, Speed 75, Zekrom, Chun-Li, and Shrimp. So we might have to be a little careful because there is Chun-Li from Philippines and there's Chen-Li from Indonesia. So don't be confused, guys. As here we've been talking about, I think one of the strengths that Indonesia has that Philippines does not have is the two DPS who are able to play the flank onto a level where they can actually focus and get those snipe kills. That rotates quickly enough where they can actually manage to combat after that kill. That's possible from Indonesia, which we have seen on stage. Compared to that, Philippines, they weren't doing it as much, and we couldn't really see that much of a teamwork on the same page. So I think that is the big difference between the two.
I agree. So Philippines, they need to work on staying together as a team. This is pretty much what I've said, similar to what I've said to Hong Kong going against, well, Chinese Taipei going on against Hong Kong. They need to keep all 5 of their members alive together in order for them to actually make a team fight happen. So we've seen multiple times where Pugbud and Wooked were just taken out before there was a team fight. So I guess the biggest homework, the biggest, I guess, task for Philippines right now will be that, hey, we need to group up, we need to actually make a fight, we need to make ult economy matter and happen. So, well, this is definitely going to be a big viewing point for me, and here we are at Nepal.
Wow, so that brings me, and the other side of things though, for Philippines, they can actually control slightly more towards the air. The in the air character like Pharaoh, Echo, we've seen a lot more of those from Philippines. So we're talking Nepal, which means that Philippines might benefit slightly more depending on if we have Sanctum or not to begin with.
Again, yes, Sanctum is a little bit of a map on Nepal where we don't have a lot of flyers, but yes, G-Clef, you have what you wanted. You have Shrine. So this is a map where we can actually have a bit of a flyers here. As you can see, Proxies is hovering the Pharah here, and also Wooked with the Pharah as well. I think, well, to be honest, I have to make a little bit of a disagreement with you, G-Clef. I actually do think that Proxies is the better flyer, although both teams have not been making a lot of these flyers kind of work out. I do think that it is. I think this coming into this match, I think they'll be both viable.
Okay, we'll see. As after the teleport, we'll change back into Pharah. So we'll have the Pharah Mercy fighting in the air. And actually, Torbjorn from Redux expecting that Pharah to come out.
Well, Indonesia, both of the teams, I think, were expecting each other to go with the Pharmacy, or at least the Echo here, because Indonesia, we have the Diva, which is also going to keep the other Pharah in check. Also, Speed 75 on the Cassidy here, which is a hit scan hero, and we have Wooked down. And Geno down here, so no resurrect here for the side of Philippines. So Indonesia will be taking that first fight, and also that's going to be the first cap as well.
Yeah, that must be a pretty nasty shot in the air. If you win that, if you land your first rocket against the opponent Pharah, oh man, that feeling is one of the best.
Yeah, so I think this is also one of the advantages that when you have the Diva, you can deny the damage from the other Pharah. And we can see that Philippines, okay, we're not going to win the Pharmacy duel here because Diva is in play.
Yes, that's
so
right.
Wooked is going with the Echo instead. Echo is generally considered a counter to the Pharah. So, but it is still very vulnerable to the Diva, so it's interesting to see how Philippines is going to play this out, because if you look at the Philippines here, they are going with the Ramatra, so they are putting a little bit more emphasis towards the ground forces. However, Indonesia, there is Zekrom on the Diva who can fly with the Pharmacy and have air superiority, and Cassidy, who is able to not only shoot targets on the ground, but also be fairly comfortable shooting targets on the air as well. There is the barrage with a lot of value there, and this is going to be yet another stall for the side of Indonesia. Philippines has to regroup, and this means at least 70% for Indonesia here.
Oh man, that was going to say, even after those air fights, I mean, there's Wooked now on Echo, but it also depends on how much help you can actually get from the other DPS. Speed 75 on the Cassidy, but Redux on that Sojourn. Because once you hit that barrage, once you hit that Q button, you're just basically standing in the air. Sometimes you get immediately taken out. But that was with the great amount of support from the back line, Chen-Li and Shrimp from Indonesia. So this Proxies.
Redux is taken down. I don't really like this. I don't really like this Sojourn pick on the side of Philippines, because yes, they're right. The charged up right click will be able to take down Proxies. However, the default left click is almost like a projectile, so it will not be as easier to target airborne targets like the Cassidy.
Wow, that's 100-0.
It is paying off like this. I think this is a strat win on the side of Indonesia. They were building a good composition over the Pharmacy. They have Diva to protect the Pharmacy in case Philippines also want a air-to-air fight. So I think this is not just a win for execution on the side of Indonesia. I think it was a planning win on the side of Indonesia here.
Yeah, look at the HP bar. It actually almost went down to a single digit for Proxies, but the support keeping it up with the barrage. But as you said, even from the first fight, the matchup just certainly went better for Indonesia. They were ready. They were with the early Diva. Philippines, they reacted to the team comp, but oftentimes it was already too late. There was too much built up from Indonesia before that second fight, before the third fight.
Okay, it is Proxy's lucky day today because we have Village on the second round and it's not going to be Shrine. So that means Proxies will be able to do that pharmacy again. And Philippines here, I think they understood. I think maybe they heard what I was saying because their Redux is coming with the Cassidy instead of the Sojourn here, which I like a lot better because this is able to put a little bit more, at least a little bit more pressure on the side of Pharah. However, Puckbutt is still with the is still going with the Junker Queen instead of the Ramatra now. So this means still, on the tank side of things, Philippines will not be having any anti-air capabilities.
Oh, Redux incredibly low there, but was able to keep the distance with the hails coming from Kiriko back line. Anti on Puckbutt, but still alive with support. Now Indonesia forced back after losing that Diva. But still, you can make things happen once you can actually land those rockets from Pharah. Not going to be enough as Wuk takes another target. Mercy gone. 1 HP from Shrimp.
Shrimp looks like he's gonna survive to see another day. However, so this is going to be the true test for Indonesia right now. We remember, G-Clip, that I've been talking about. Okay, this is why Echo is generally considered a counter to the Pharah. However, if we come back to the initial conversation here, this is going to be the true test for Indonesia because now that they don't have the point anymore, they have to maneuver very carefully because this air composition is only valid when you have control of the point. And thanks to the efforts of Zekrom and Shrimp, they finally got the point back, and so it's going to be
what a shot.
So this is going to be an advantageous position for the side of Proxies and Indonesia here. Okay,
the
good
Proxies
barrage.
just... It's like as if he's just doing things on his own, not even communicating with the teammates. Okay, I'm actually in the air, guys, shooting at the right target. Leave me alone. I'll do my part. And you guys come support me. And so far, it's been working great. I'm sure there's a lot of communication, but the shots, the predicted, because it's a projectile, you have to predict the movement of the opponent. So far, Proxies, Pharah, one of the best we have in the tournament. No stick.
There weren't a lot of cases where the air composition actually worked out. I do remember Sparkle doing wonders with the Sphera pick, but I think this is going to be the second Pharah pharmacy that I'm actually really impressed with here.
And still contesting for the point. Philippines getting some more percentage as Zekrom.
You
Not
poor
long.
man.
You wanted to look for that noon, but it's over.
But surprisingly, the point is on the side of Philippines, and they are approaching, almost matching Indonesia's percentages here. So, and it looks like they are going to be ahead now very, very soon. And
yeah, Proxy switching over to Echo now, as you have pointed out, as Echo has been contesting against that Pharah pretty well. And speed 75 now on Sombra.
Which is, I think, kind of interesting because we've usually seen speed 75 only on Tracer, and Proxies was usually on the Sombra duty. However, the earlier aggression from Zekrom makes sure that Indonesia will be on a numbers advantage. Yes,
Indonesia poking the right hole there. As, yeah, without the Echo, without the Mercy, the back line of, if you have Cassidy with just a Kiriko, we're not going to be able to survive that Winston damage.
Okay, I think that was a good anti-nade from Wuk there, copying, duplicating the Ana. However, it wasn't enough because Indonesia, with their early aggression, Nano Winston onto the backline of Philippines. I think it was a good dive there, and interesting to see how Indonesia adapting to changes that Philippines were making here. I thought, yes, the Pharah was doing really well. I think Proxies and Speed 75 were doing a good job with running the Pharah composition. However, that Pharah composition only works when you have firm control over the point. Once you are contesting the point, it is not as effective because you have to be forced in some positions. And good adaptation from Indonesia.
Yeah, there was that rampage onto Chen-Li only, and that's 99. The second control going to Indonesia, getting the first map off of Philippines.
Yeah, once again, good strategic preparation on the side of Indonesia. I think not only the execution was on point, I think it was a lot of the wins can be contributed on the side of tactical preparation here. The Pharaoh Mercy, especially on Shrine, was really, really impressive. And also on Village, it was also great, but what impressed me more is that, hey, they know the win conditions of this Farah comp. That you know that Farah compositions work when you have uncontested control of the point. If the opponent has the composition or is playing well to the point that you have to be in a position to contest the point, then Farah Mercy is not going to be as effective. So they understood that. They understood, okay, these are our win conditions, and okay, on Village, this isn't really working out. So this is not going to be a check. This is going to be a triangle, maybe, or an X. So we're swapping compositions, we're making those adaptations, and we're going to take that one. And that is the most impressive part from Indonesia that I've been seeing this entire tournament.
Yes, Philippines tried to do the checkpoints one at a time, but if you do one at a time, a little too slow, the opponent's going to hit that 100% a little too soon before you actually make that switch. But because that happened for Philippines, of course, they actually made that echo switch early on, which I liked a lot. They were actually getting control a lot more towards especially the air. And then the other three actually staying in the control. They ended up getting almost until, I believe, 88%, which was very close. That's also because Indonesia, they let that happen by controlling the air. But with that percentage, I think they could have shifted more towards staying on the ground after was it Proxy switching over to Echo, then you know, okay, if I have to contest 1v1 Echo Mercy, it's going to be tough. I had the same moment in the very first map. So maybe staying on the ground could have been a better option towards the very end.
I agree. Philippines, they were looking a lot more comfortable, of course, when they compared to when they were playing against the top teams on the group. However, they just I think they were a little bit caught off guard over there. I think they were expecting the Pharaoh Mercy, but not the Diva on Shrine early on. And Village, they fared a little bit better. The Ramatra wasn't phenomenal, but did its job. And after the Junker Queen, it was good enough to force changes on the side of Indonesia. I think if Indonesia was not reacting quickly enough, I think that round might have gone to the Philippines. But necessarily, I don't think Philippines played bad. It was just that Indonesia made the right adaptations at the right time. So credit to where it's due. Indonesia played a little bit better on map 1. Now Philippines will be able to choose map type and map. So it'll be interesting to see how they fight back.
Yeah, it's also very important to, when your opponent's actually changing a lot of the team comp, you need to follow up and change up the tank, going back into the Winston later on. That was very smart. Of course, it was just Cassidy, Kiriko. We mentioned during the game that sometimes it's just not enough. You need to have the Brigade oftentimes, or even with the Ana, you have to be contested, because oftentimes when you have your own tank and also Echo in the air, they're not going to be covering up for you. The other two, they have to survive on their own, but when there's a Nano Winston or anyone else along with that Winston, like a Tracer or Sombra, there's close to no way of surviving that. So it was just worse and worse. Indonesia knew the answers every single time. When Philippines, they were still struggling to find some answers to the questions.
Exactly. So maybe I think to kind of, target specifically the pharmacy comp, maybe I think the answer on the side of Philippines was, hey, we can actually win the aerial 2v2, and then we'll be having air superiority. So hey, Indonesia, how are you going to deal with that? But in the end, I think that kind of strat kind of failed. So maybe, like you said, G-Clef, maybe you can use the pharmacy comp the other way around. Hey, we are actually going to target not the Farah composition, but the 3 members that are on the ground. So maybe a quick rush comp might be available to work. It depends on what's the map's going to look like. Oh, okay. I am getting some updates. So maybe they are
some subs.
They're tracking my. I don't want to brag here, but they might be actually on to be the same idea as I have right now. So yes, I'm gonna spoil this a bit. So the next map is going to be Shambali Monastery. This is a map that Rush is very viable, and it's not necessarily the best map to play Pharmacy or the Echo Mercy on that matter as well. So maybe if if Indonesia does decide to go with a pharmacy, they can just Philippines can be like, hey, we're going full dive or full rush rather, and then we're going to decimate the ground members of our team. Hey, if you're in the air, you can't touch the payload. So I think maybe that's going to be the strat for the Philippines.
So
here.
I think this is going to be the worrisome moment as Philippines. When we go into hybrid escort, once there's a push from the payload, I think we slightly lean more towards Indonesia because those double flank and the Winston has been deadly even against some better teams in the tournament. As Philippines, compared to that, not at the same level. I think the map 1 control was certainly the map they should have taken if they had. I think they literally had the best chance of taking that away from Indonesia compared to the other modes that we have. So they're actually in a bigger trouble as Indonesia. They will be looking for a lot more of those Sombra Tracer. I'm guessing that those are going to be it unless we have a specific map for other heroes.
For Indonesia, I think we might have that little change here. And here, just to mention you guys, so the third match of today is going to played on LAN at the WDG Esports Studio in Seoul. So, and there are also fans. So they will be waiting for that
house.
Korea, Japan. However, the other matches are going to be played online. So the reason why you saw the venue here is that because there are fans who are waiting for that third match is also watching this match online. But to answer you guys' questions on chat, the Philippines and Indonesia is playing online. So unfortunately, it would have been awesome if they played on LAN at the WDG Esports Studio. But
we'd love to have players all the time.
But they're online.
Yeah, until we get to our third match of the night. We'll be online, and the next map we have is going to be Shambali. So let's see what both teams are readied up for.
I'm waiting to see those hovers here. Oh, and we have substitution coming on. SJS, I think this is the first time that we've seen.
I think so.
Yeah, SJS is making his first appearance on the World Cup qualifiers here, and we are seeing GC on the tank. Wait, was GC? GC was
GC was here.
Yeah, GC was here
displayed
yesterday. So this is going to be his second appearance on World Cup qualifiers APAC-A. And look at the Philippines here. They're the ones going to play the pharmacy.
Yeah, certainly the map for Hanzo headshots. We've been seeing a lot of that from every single team from APAC-A so far. Let's see who comes out to be the better Hanzo, SJS or Redux on either team. Speed, because thinking about Genji, we'll see about that.
Okay, both teams are running the Ramatra here, which isn't a surprise. But what I'm surprised here with is that Philippines is not doing a spawn camp strat. So they're letting the payload go until the corner. However, not a lot of anti-air methods for the side of Indonesia. So maybe if they can make this pharmacy work, they will be able to have a good time here.
Yeah, let's see how they want to contest using Genji. We've seen some amazing plays from Genji that can take out Pharah, but that takes a lot of conditions and situations to allow that.
At the current moment, it looks like Baptiste is going to be the one having to take down the Pharah. However, Indonesia is taking the ground forces down first. Hanzo down, both support lines, and Genji actually using his time in the air to take down the Pharah.
Speed 75 with the manner there, and also SJS actually got a headshot onto Mercy. I believe Geno's Mercy was in the air at that moment, so a full team wipe. Indonesia free push for the first point.
I think they can contest for point A here, and Wuck is down again with the headshot.
Is this guy a Hanzo master?
I mean, where has this Hanzo been all this time?
He's been mastering his shots. It only takes so much practice.
Oh, wow.
Here comes Philippines. Well, they tried coming in, but they really can't at the moment. So switch. I'm actually thinking about switching over.
Ooh, SJS! SJS is the man of the moment right now. He is making these crucial kills happen. And Philippines can clearly not deal with this man.
Look, almost took out that Mercy too. Now Nation for the push, and GC cleans up everyone on the ground. Philippines push all the way back. Free push for Indonesia from beginning to now.
To be honest, I don't think that annihilation was necessary.
Okay. Yeah.
But anyway, it got 2 kills, and it is going to be a free push on the side of Chen-Li. On the Lucio is the driver right now. He's just like he's not been doing much. He's been driving the cart.
Just DJing on the payload. And Philippines, they changed back into main. Finally.
He could because he can, and yes, there is going to be a lot of ultimates being used on the side of the Philippines. That is going to be the window, and do I see an annihilation here? Maybe.
From Hogbat, actually going to hold it. There's a lot of his teammates already dead, and they're forced to be off the point. And the payload touches a second. Locked in speed. Oh, Cassidy just going all the way. He still thinks that he's playing Tracer.
The DPS players are popping off on the side of Indonesia here. SJS with the early kills, headshot kills on the members of Philippines, got them this far up to point B, and when Indonesia wanted to actually cap point B, speed 75 on the Cassidy came up and made those headshots happen. And I don't think Philippines is being able to cope with the pace that Indonesia is testing them with right now.
Yeah, this is looking to be one quick game, and that was actually a hit from Hanzo again. Redux with Lucio was able to take out that Hanzo finally, and Philippines using that annihilation.
Hogbat the early annihilation, but got deleted early. But that's also Ajax on Chen-Li.
Was not able to hit. Oh, even without that Lucio, they still managed to win without that sound barrier.
And it has to be Chen-Li himself writing that. Ajax
and says, okay, it switches over to, think of things about switching over, but keeps, okay, there's that window.
With the annihilation to keep everyone away from the payload. However, he is frozen, and oh, good.
Not enough damage to follow up.
Good immortality field to have him alive.
And that's it, 3-point from Indonesia. Philippines, even though it was right next to them, they just could not kill GC because there's that step to keep that damage off. How long did that take? A 3:57 left.
Oh, that is a huge time bank.
That's fast.
That is. I mean, I don't. Maybe we do have to check if that's a record or not. I don't think that is going to be a record because we have seen a lot of fast pushes on Shambali so far. But wow, I mean, I'm really impressed I'm really impressed with SJS here because this is his first performance. This is his first map in the Overwatch World Cup. Where has SJS been all along?
They never had to play.
This is his secret weapon. Indonesia had this lethal weapon within them, and they didn't use it so far. Well, I mean, I'm glad we can see him here now because he's having a good time. What is this chat shenanigans? I like to eat
Chun-Li and Chen-Li going back and forth. The backline's also having fun at the same time. As this is a thing, as Indonesia, they've been.
Well, I mean, it's good to see them have fun. So this is, yes, this is a competition, but you know, this cliche of it's all about the friends that we make along the way, right? And it's going to be
One Piece. Yes, that's going to be.
I wasn't about to say it, but
no
yes,
spoilers. But of course, we don't know exactly what the ending is going to be like. But here we go. The gates open. Philippines. Let's see how quickly they can push.
Once again, the defensive side this time, Indonesia is not electing to go forward and do the spawn camp. So this early cart is going to be moving away from the parking lot and getting to that corner. Both teams are going with the Ram Rush with Indonesia.
Oh, that dynamite.
A little bit of a variance with the Genji there.
Field almost kept Puglet alive, but not for long as Macha still focused and Speed 75 keeping that high ground. SJS poking from the side, and worse news. Yep, Philippines, they have to retreat all the way back to the spawn.
It's really, really interesting and impressive on the side of Indonesia because I just realized they don't have a Lucio, so this is not a rush composition. However, they are making the tempo happen. Oh, there is that sneaky Shrimp. Shrimp is looking for that nade. Good nade into the back line of Philippines. There is that immortality field. However, Chun-Li falls. What a nade from Shrimp. Yes, Shrimp does fall, and it looks like GC will be falling as well, but what a sneaky. I mean, the part
Oh,
that
SGS actually fires back. He's still alive somehow. I thought the entire team was dead.
can he survive? He does.
Steal back. Still now, Philippines will be able to push the payload a little more, but you do have to be careful.
I mean, I think they can go all the way up to the corner. Yeah, but I think the big fight is going to be on that corner as well because Philippines will be having key ultimates ready. Especially, the question is going to be whether Puckbutt can get his annihilation or not. It looks like he's very low, but he will be able to survive. Indonesia is pulling the trigger first because they know that Puckbutt's ultimate is going to be online soon, and Blizzard is also going to be online soon as well. Speed 75 using that Bob to take out Redux, and the next fight they're probably going to be SJS's Nanoblade incoming.
Yeah, it's coming anytime they want. The only ult that's not available is Ash that was just used. Philippines also stacking up. Okay, there's Blizzard.
The Blizzard is
Sound
there.
barrier.
GC.
Not even popped. Okay, popped at the right time, but gets the blade. And SGS can't really find the right target after the barrier. Finds one. So that's about it. Pretty nice timing of that sound barrier from Geno.
But I think in the end, it's Indonesia who profits here because not only do they delay the time, take away time on the time back on the side of Philippines, they also, it's basically a traded ultimate, and then they got a kill after that. So I think that's a good thing for the side of Indonesia. And also the fact that GC will be able to have that annihilation without Geno's sound barrier, it is going to be very difficult to defend against. And also, we didn't mention it wasn't a nano blade, it was just a blade, so it is going to be a nano annihilation. And that is going to actually do its namesake and annihilate Philippines.
Yes, and there's still the Junkrat who actually picked up multiple kills with the mind, displacing the back line in the room. Yeah, once they're actually stuck in the room, it's a perfect time for the Junkrat to actually bounce off and get those free kills. Even if you don't exactly target, you
Oh, nice leap. That is going to deny 5 seconds.
That's a pretty nice nap.
Oh, the Junkrat almost killed him.
Yep, could have been even better, but damage can they survive through?
4 seconds now. Puckbutt is very low. Now popping that annihilation. It is the last, potentially the last fight for the Philippines and Indonesia here.
Keep it up, Annihilation actually getting a few more. Walk from the air, takes down Chen Li. Shrimp very low from the back line, and Ramatra will be able to pick up. Yeah, with Walked. Finally, there's that team wipe for the first point.
Yes, Puckbutt is trapped, but he can be trapped very happily because they have capped that first point, and it looks like we have a pause. Chun-Li hasn't okay, it is actually Geno who is disconnected from the game, so maybe we have some connectivity issues. I'm not hearing a lot of things from production right now, but usually no news is good news in these kind of circumstances, because usually in these kind of situations, when the production kind of speaks to us in ear, it's like, oh, we need you to talk a little bit, we need you to delay a little bit.
No,
but
it's fine. It's fine. We learned a pretty good spot for Anna, and now that's been revealed.
I'm gonna use that on my.
I'm going to check that spot every single time.
But you know, I'm not going against you, so I will be using that.
Yeah, you play support, right?
Yes, I am a flex support, so I learned something today.
Yes. I also learned something today to keep an eye out for these kind of Annas staying on that spot. He ended up dying very quickly, though. They actually found him right after the biotic grenade.
Yeah, there weren't a lot of follow-up damage, and I think the mortality field was there to kind of buy some time. So good. So lesson learned. Use that spot only when there isn't a Baptiste on the other side. So maybe if there wasn't a Baptiste, maybe if there wasn't that immortality field, then that might have actually worked out really better.
Yeah, but I was actually wondering, going to another topic here, but I was wondering when Philippines would actually change. I thought at the beginning there was still some room for them to actually, okay, let's go back to what worked slightly better from Control from our first half, and let's just go Fair Mercy and actually try to contest, or even some action with some other heroes there were some potentials because they were getting blocked from the spawn, but they at the end, after using all the time bank, they just got the refill of 230. And they might not have enough time towards the end because at the first half, Indonesia did push all the way with 3:57 left.
Yeah, they have less time bank than Indonesia's like end game time bank. So it's definitely going to be an uphill fight for them. But I mean, still, yeah, you have to play for the win. So even though it's overtime, just making that cap happen, full cap happen, is going to be the goal for the side of Philippines. I'm not necessarily sure if they're going to stay with the pharmacy because point 2 is kind of like not too open space. So so pharmacy will be having restricted areas of movement. Maybe they will go with the double flankers. Maybe I'm expecting to see a change though.
Yeah, still Hanzo seems to be okay throughout the point ABC, and possibly pair that with own flank. We've seen some tracers, not too many from Philippines, so I think they're still kind of debating what they should go for on the second point because they have less than 230 now, and that uphill seems to be the big challenge for a lot of these teams.
Maybe Walked might want to go with the Genji.
So yeah, Genji's
We've seen
actually
a lot
not
of
bad
Gen-
against
yeah.
Junkrat. If Genji just dives in, he could just have a free easy kill, if there's no support for 2 seconds. And Junkrat will be in a comfortable position. You know that slide just up here, and then you can just just shoot at any wall, and eventually it's going to hit something.
That, I'll be very bold here. That is a very silver-minded, elo-minded way of
because
playing Junkrat.
From the top window, you can actually shoot down and use the wall to actually hit off the target. The middle ground in between the slopes. So there's a lot of angles that you can, coming from the old Junkrat master, you can actually use those angles.
I thought you were the Hanzo master, though. Where did the Hanzo master go?
Those old times. Not because I'm not a master anymore. After those two, the old times and the old times, and yeah, that's back in the days of of the Overwatch 1.
Those were the days, my friend.
And I can't be as good anymore, so I'm just laying it out there. I can't call myself master, but SJS. Certainly, I can tell from those aim. If you can hit those targets in the air, 2 out of 3 shots. That's awesome. Like 1 out of 3 is still pretty good if you're aiming for anyone in the air.
Okay, so we've been having a little bit of debate on what Philippines might use, but I might have a feeling that Pugbud might kind of be stuck on the pharmacy because I remember that he had about like 80% on barrage, so maybe he'll stick on it.
Yeah, maybe charge that and get 20% more and just immediately use and switch over to anything else. I think they can benefit a lot more from any more hit scans or some more blinks.
I just had a disastrous thought. Maybe match the Junkrat.
Junkrat versus Junkrat.
Oh my god, that's gonna be something. Is
that going to be like Torbjorn versus Torbjorn?
I mean, we've actually seen Torbjorn versus Torbjorn because Torbjorn is like when the double flanker meta was in full swing in the Overwatch League. Torbjorn was kind of like a pick to counter that. So we've seen moments where Torbjorn mirror was actually happening, but I don't think we've ever seen a Junkrat v Junkrat mirror. Not in recent days. Maybe sometimes in Lijiang. Let me search my memory here. 2021 Lijiang Tower Control Center. I think we've seen Junkrat mirrors. Maybe.
And it was also Jenna who was on that Lucio who actually had some connection issue, I believe. And I think it was also Jenna actually pulled that sound barrier off pretty nicely both of the time, first half and the second half. Was actually not the one doing the Ajax.
Wait, Jenna, Chenli was the one with the Ajax.
It was the other side.
And Jenna was actually having a good sound barrier to protect their teammates against the Dragon Blade. Although it was not nanoed, it was still a good measure for against a countermeasure against the Dragon Blade here. And I'm hearing from production now that we know that this is going to be a little bit a longer issue. Geno is currently disconnected, and Okay, so let me get you the story here. Geno was disconnected, and we were looking at why, and it was a storm actually coming up. There was a storm in his area, and the internet was disconnected for a bit, but now it is. Where I'm hearing that things are fixed and that we will be in game
Okay,
soon.
like a real storm, not like a rage storm, right? Like a
No.
real physical weather storm in
Yes.
his area. Okay, just to make sure.
Not a rage storm.
It
was not a mouse.
I mean, a
storm.
lightning can always take out the powers. I
Mhm.
mean, that does happen, and it does take some time to get the electricity back from, depending on which neighborhood you're in. So let's just wait until.
All right,
Jenna comes back in.
okay. This is the last day of qualifiers right
No
now.
pajama
So
pants.
yes, no pajama pants. I want to actually stand up here. I have jeans on here, guys. No pajama pants.
I am going to keep that private. Just to be safe. Just to keep
Alright,
that
but
question mark on
we-
you for you guys. Okay.
We are back in game, and no, it's actually looked at 97% on the barrage, so we will be. I'd be very surprised if Wook would swap to another hero here. But we are 1/3 on point B here, progression here, and let's see. SJS on the Genji. Oh, there's the tire available, which is be using.
Good
It will be
tire
a
over the wall.
disaster if Farah is
Oh.
gonna get it.
Goes all the way towards the back end. The finds Redux, but
Wait,
in the meantime,
no. So the
What?
tire got nobody. The tire
it
got
did some damage onto Redux's Hanzo, but that's about it. In the meantime, this barrage actually got 2 kills. It did a lot more. Yeah, we had the camera on the tire, but it's called
Yeah, we
Rip
had-
Tire for a reason, okay?
I mean, the tire got ripped off, and I guess good nano barrage on Philippines. And so Indonesia will be having the nanoblade online, which now, this time, the nanoblade will... Oh, good! Deflect all the sleep! That was gonna take 2, and maybe the 3rd on Pugbutt. No, but Pugbutt...
SJS, where was this guy all along?
I know! That's what I,
I mean,
was asking from
Proxies
the
is
start!
pretty good, but...
Okay, Pugbutt will be denied. Well, no, Pugbutt is going to stay, and SJS is going to be denied that 4th kill, but 3 kills. So it was 2 kills on the Nanoblade, and the 3rd on after the Dragon Blade expired. But what mechanics? I'm really impressed with this player.
And so far, even with the NT, SP75 finding a headshot onto Wooks. May.
So Redux,
again.
good Dragon to force them into a position where...
Capacity being non-stop action here, landing all the shots.
Yeah, so I was about to say, good Dragon from Redux to force Indonesia into a position, but Speed 75
7
on that
seconds.
Cassidy was just
Wrecking ball.
firing and wrecking everyone. Speaking of wreck,
Soldier.
Pugbutt is on the wrecking ball to contest, but it was
Just off the payload a little bit. And that's a 2-0 victory for Indonesia.
Oh my
5th
god,
place.
that isn't even ASC9 because what a great sleep on the wrecking ball. The wrecking ball pick was there just to touch and it was denied.
I believe it was Shrimp.
It
on
was
it,
shrimp. Oh my god.
Shrimp at the end, and that is going to be a 2-0 win. We were saying Philippines, they can certainly contest against Indonesia, but it was close on controls, but when we came to Shambali Monastery, it wasn't a big of a contest as Indonesia just kept that run 3-point, and that is it.
We're back.
3-2-1, I believe, what's the score on that second map?
Exactly. And wow, it is... Well,
I loved it.
Yes, there was a pause, but there were so many incredible moments right after the pause, however short it was. We had SJS coming up, and we have SJS coming up, and this guy was phenomenal. Like, yes, I thought, like, even pre-match, I thought the DPS, I did mention that the DPS lineup on the inside of Indonesia was a little bit ahead compared to the DPS of the Philippines. However, like, I didn't expect this. Like, SJS on the Hanzo was making early picks that on the offense, on the attack on Shambali, that it made it easier for them. It made Chen Li just, oh, okay, SJS just popping heads. I'm just gonna drive the truck. It was literally the story of the Indonesian attack on Shambali, and on the defense, that sleep kill on
sleep dot reflex kill.
Oh my god,
that was sick.
That was sick.
One great moment.
I would be
sure.
very upset if that is not in the highlight reels.
I am so sure one of those S from SJS is called. It's from Shimada. Maybe the first Shimada for Hanzo, the later Shimada for Genji. I don't know what the J is for, but that's why we have SJ. That's a win for Indonesia, keeping the pride up. Of course, Philippines, unfortunately, they just lost. They did lose their final match, but that is our second match of the night, guys, because we have one more match, and you don't want to miss this for sure, 100%. And you know what this is all about.
It is.
It is going to be Japan versus South Korea, happening at WDG Esports Studio, and we're going to be taking a short break before that. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
안녕하세요. 저는 대한민국 대표팀 메인 탱커 피어리스입니다.
탱크를 맡고 있는 한빈이라고 합니다.
DPS를 맡고 있는 스파클 김영환이라고 합니다.
대한민국 팀 메인 딜러를 맡고 있는 리 비재원이라고 합니다.
대한민국에서 서브힐러를 맡고 있는 핀 오세진이라고 합니다.
서블러를 맡고 있는 필더 권준입니다.
힐러를 맡고 있는 치우 한현석입니다.
말 안 해도 아시겠지만
아무래도 지금 리그 탑급 선수들만 모으는 게 장점이지 않나.
피지컬이랑 매지컬이 월등히 더 높아서
라인업이 강한 팀이라고 생각합니다.
우승까지 아무 걱정 없이 할 수 있다는 게 정말 좋은 점인 것 같아요.
한일전은 어떤 스포츠든 이제 무조건 대립하는 구도가 있는 것 같은데
아무래도 많은 팬분들이 가장 관심 있어하는 경기인 만큼 저도 되게 기대가 많이 되는 것 같아요.
어떤 스포츠든 뭐든 일단 서로 지기 싫어하는 그런 분위기가 있기 때문에 대한민국 대표팀 선수들도 저도 포함해서
지면 안 될 것 같고 그래서 좀 더 열심히 하게 될 것 같습니다.
재미있을 것 같기도 하고 기대도 많이 됩니다. 예상 스코어는 무조건 2대0.
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 당연히 2대0으로 쉽게 이겨야죠.
일본이 예선전을 치르는 경기를 좀 봤는데 생각보다 잘하더라고요. 네. 그래서
방심이나 좀 긴장을 안 하면 큰 코 다칠 수 있겠다는 생각을 좀 하고 있어요.
여러분들 팬분들 응원 덕분에 좀 더 쉽게 올랐다 생각하고 원산에서도 좋은 모습 많이 보여드리고 열심히 하겠습니다.
이 기세를 타서 우승까지 만들겠습니다.
열심히 해서 지금까지 전승하신 걸 알고 있는데 잘안 만났다 생각하고 그냥 편하게 지시할 것 같습니다.
탈퇴근 시켜드릴게요.
And welcome back, everyone, for the last match of qualifiers for APAC Group A. We are live from WDG Esports Studio. I'm G Clef, with me unknown here, as we have packed full house with the crowd actually being right in front of Team Korea.
Yeah, for the first time in Overwatch 2023 Overwatch World Cup qualifiers APAC Group A, we are going to have a LAN match with, as you can see, we have fans on the venue. We have fans, we have
the future
fan
Overwatch
cheers.
right there.
Yeah, they're going to be the future pros. It is like, who is going to be, they're going to be like 10 years later, who's going to be lit?
The World
Who's
Cup
lit?
members of 2029.
Exactly, and look at this. We have a full house, like you mentioned. It is full with fans. They have been wanting this to happen for ages now, and we are finally glad that we can have them deliver. Look at the fan signs here as well. Look at the illustrations. They are top tier.
Wow, there's some like crazy art drawings
Exactly.
there,
And although we won't be hosting Team Japan here on this venue, we will be having Team Korea play as well. So this is going to be very, very hype, G-Clef.
Yeah, I can't even. I'm literally looking for the empty seat. I can't find an empty seat between the. Wow, those artworks are insane.
Exactly. So just to, I mean, I can't translate all the text, but it looks like hey, a lot of fans on the individual players.
I can
on
translate.
the team.
They're all cheering for Team Korea. Oh, so there's the Team Japan. Team Japan logo there too. The flag.
The thing is, the text is so funny because it's like, hey, Japan is like, okay,
Go easy
go
on
easy.
us. Yeah, so there are lots of fans, a whole lot of fans, of course, coming down here, as we've seen the fans line up hours ago.
Yeah, exactly.
Just to get into the studio.
I arrived at like 3:30 p.m. Which is like 4 hours from now, and there were a line so long that it filled the entire floor.
I know. I was on the same elevator coming up with the fans. And
oh, look at it! I think that's
2019.
Yeah, that was the last World Cup. So this is what the fans have been waiting for. Like, especially because of the pandemic, we weren't able to have the World Cup. We weren't able to have them on land. So a lot of them was online. But this is what fans, this is what players, this is what us, we as casters, have been living for so much. This is the environment that makes us so excited and feel fulfilling.
Yeah, exactly. The World Cup, one of the biggest events for Overwatch esports. And yeah, play to win. That's the hashtag. I remember that actually from 4 years ago. And of course, a lot of cheer for us. G-Clef and Unknown, we love you, of course. Thank you so much for all the fan supports for us too. As this is going to be some real Nice. Maybe, of course, these players are because they have so much on-stage experience. I think honestly, they're actually going to enjoy the match even more.
Yeah, I mean, I've been hosting the mid-season madness at the Overwatch League. I've talked with a lot of these players because these players are such in a high caliber that they're champions. Like especially Team Korea, they are a roster full of champions, not just on the MSN but also on the Grand Finals last year. I've talked with a lot of these players. They were like, "Hey, playing on the stage actually makes me so fulfilling to a point that, hey, some of these players were considering retirement, and after going on stage, after hearing these fans, after feeling the energy from the fans on LAN, they were like, okay, I actually do want to play. I rejuvenated my passion for Overwatch, for esports as a professional player. So this is going to be one of the special moments again here, G-Clef.
And loving the energy from the fans and all these, because they waited for hours before. They also had this much time to draw and have all the cheerful for the players that they like.
They waited 4 years.
The messages they're
for this,
delivering.
G-Clef. 4 years.
I'm sure a lot of them actually waited for. Oh, look at those jerseys. And this is off to the side. It's literally packed full house.
We have a lot of individual fans for Team Korea here.
On the left. Yes, that's exactly what I want to see.
And they not only they had a lot. They had multiple fan signs. Oh my God, this is so wholesome, man.
Yeah, it's so heartwarming for a lot of the players who's actually going to see this in just moments from now. And a lot of Hanbin fans, a lot of Sparkle fans, Finn fans. They're everywhere.
Yeah, I mean,
Chio, Fielder.
everyone.
Yeah, Korea's gonna win, of course. Fearless, yeah, they got everyone covered. It's incredible what offline can give you. I wish we were also there. We're pretty close there, so we're receiving the energy from the offline too.
Exactly, we've been there right before the match, and it still was a immense experience. Let's talk a little bit about the match, just the nature of Korea and Japan, not just in Overwatch, but we've seen this in the pre-match interview here, that Korea and Japan are fierce rivals in any sports and anything that is competitive, that has anything that you have to decide a winner, then Korea and Japan are rivals here.
Yeah, especially the countries nearby. Oh, look at that D.Va with the Korean flag. Of course, D.Va with the Korean flag makes total sense. And this is another battle for the first place of the qualifiers for APAC-A. So it has to matter so much. And I think we are actually going to sweep the entire floor and watch. Take a look at every single cheerful before we actually head into the match, which I would love. And there's D.Va, some more D.Vas on the right, on top.
Yeah, I mean, I understand there's a lot of D.Va illustrations here because D.Va is the Korean character on Overwatch. So a lot of the cheer signs associated with D.Va I can understand. Oh, there's a Finn fan over there.
Yeah, please remember me.
I will remember you, fan.
Yes.
I will remember you,
there was another
gamer.
sign below that if you win, you marry me, Team Korea. So I hope that works out somehow for you. And of course, popcorn available. You can just get popcorn and drinks downstairs. That's actually pretty cool. The seats are very comfortable and very cool with all the AC. And of course, the sound system is awesome
exactly.
too.
So this is a esports studio that is refitted a movie theater. So that there are great screens, there are great sound systems, and it is designed for your esports pleasure.
Exactly. With this many seats for everyone to enjoy. I hope everyone got in. Because there are a lot of people waiting to get into this studio. And yeah, Fielder. Korea has Fielder, so it seems like...
it kind of gives me those Marvel vibes. It's like, I have a Hulk.
Yeah, I have a Hulk. Yeah, exactly.
I have a Fielder.
Korea has Fielder.
So yeah, so a lot of great hype on the match. So we're now going into this match. Like you mentioned, G-Clef, this is going to be the first place decider for our APAC Group A. Japan, Korea currently undefeated. One team will be broken, and well, not like broken in a sense that their win streak is going to get broken, and they will. Both teams are qualified, G-Clef, but one team will break that undefeated title.
Yeah, 4-0. On the left, 4-0. On the right for both teams, sending on top, tied for that first place. exactly because they're 4-0 plus 8, did not drop a single map. So we'll see how Japan does here up against one of the clear favorites of the entire tournament. And here's a starting roster: Nico, Kyuki, PSG, Mint, Q-Loud. Nothing out of the ordinary, and I think this starting roster might actually stay for the entire match.
Yeah, we did see Mihawk and Plankton coming up yesterday. Mihawk usually on the long-range hit scans, and Plankton usually coming on the escort maps for the off-tank roles. However, we do see over the weeks that this starting five is indeed the strongest members of Team Japan so far. All of these members, including the bench members here, are part of Team Viral, who has been playing together for almost a full year now on Overwatch Contenders APAC. So this is a team that has been talented, not just talented, but they have been improving immensely. So I'll be making a bold statement here, G-Clev. Japan looks like they can compete even with the best teams in the world now, and going against Korea is going to be the ultimate test of their power levels, because I think, G-Clev, that Japan can actually make it into top 8 of the tournament.
Yeah, they are one of the big favorites of the not just in APAC, of course, they're one of the higher teams in the entire World Cup. This is going to be a big proof for not just for themselves, to actually calculating their own power, thinking about the later group stages against the stronger opponents.
And now it looks like Team Korea is ready to enter the stage, because we finished with the Team Japan introductions. And yes, they are in the flesh. Team Korea. We have Lip, we have Sparkle, we have Fearless Hanbin, and I see Fielder and Chio there. So unfortunately, it looks like Finn is not here, or at least not yet, but this is Team Korea, and I'm definitely hyped up for this team. This team is full of elite talent, G-Clev.
Yeah, only 5 are going to be sitting. So is it going to be Hanbin or Fearless with the starting roster? It's going to be Hanbin. And Lip Sparkle, of course, for the DPS, and Fielder Chio. Oh, no Finn. Maybe he's not playing. Maybe he's just standing on the backstage. We don't know yet. But looking at the roster, it seems like maybe they want to use Fearless later on when we go into Hybrid Escort.
Maybe it depends on the map right now, because sometimes you want to use the Diva, sometimes you want to use the Junker Queen instead of the Winston, which I think Fearless is unmatched at. But let this roster sink in a little bit.
Yeah, just take a look and screenshot, and you can print this out.
Lip, the MSM winners, the Mid-Season Madness winners. Fielder Chio, the unkillable backline from Atlanta Reign, joining with Lip on this incredible roster. Sparkle, 2022 Overwatch League Grand Final winners. Hanbin, 2022 Overwatch League Grand Final winners.
They're all superstars. They're all super top-notch tier, gathered in a team called South Korea for this World Cup. And I honestly think they can actually get the trophy.
Exactly. This is
very likely.
Like we mentioned, G-Clev, this team is on a vengeance run right now. They think that, well, right now in the last World Cup 2019, they didn't win the World Cup finals. USA is actually the title holders for the World Cup currently. They want to correct that. They are here for vengeance, and they are here to correct it. They're on a redemption arc here.
Yeah, but even for Team South Korea, certainly this is the match. It is going to be the toughest match out of the qualifiers. And Team Japan, they actually had against one of the stronger opponents yesterday. Hong Kong had a huge victory with a 2-0, and we thought it was going to be tougher. Some harder times coming out from even with this great roster from Japan, but it was very well handled and very well practiced. So against South Korea, let's see what they're actually going to bring in this first two.
Exactly. I'm also really interested to see what South Korea is going to play with. In the previous matches, we've seen South Korea use a lot of the unconventional compositions. So I think that is also considering that they know that they are a team that are at a much higher power level. So sometimes they don't want to, reveal the tactical aspects of their play. But I mean, if you've seen the interviews, pre-match interviews, it was like, hey, we know that this is a match that fans are really excited about. Like, even fans that are not Overwatch fans are interested. I know that for a fact because it is South Korea versus Japan. This is how much South Korea is investing in the emotional value of this matchup, South Korea versus Japan. So maybe they want to actually do a quote-unquote proper composition here.
Yes, as with these many fans right in front of you, they will receive much more energy, and I honestly think they'll be better on stage compared to online because they can actually communicate better. And in other sense, you have to heal your DPS because they're literally right next to you.
Yes, I mean, this is a funny story that I can be confident of sharing now. When on South Korea's first match against Chinese Taipei, Chio did not heal Fielder on purpose because they had a bet on who's gonna have the first death of the tournament, and that person had to buy dinner for the team. So, no, I don't believe there's going to be any that kind of shenanigans for today's match. I think they're going to have their serious face on and will be on their very best today. I'm just excited to see what they're coming up with. I also am very interested to see what they think of the meta right now because on the previous matches, it's like, I think they're kind of trying this and that, but maybe we have a more refined strategy, a refined composition today. So that is what I'm really keen to see.
And also on the other side of the things, all the fans are here, of course, are cheering for, I'm guessing about 97% or more are rooting for South Korea. But if Japan can actually show some amazing moments on stage and defeat and drop a map against South Korea, which no other team has been able to do so far, and that might actually continue into group stage. I'm going to eat my words there. And if Japan can actually take a map off of South Korea, that will be an amazing result already.
Again, I think that Team Japan is already developed so well because like they have the talent there. They also have been playing together, which means that they have been growing their teamwork and grown as players, individuals, and as a team. I think at the start of this competitive cycle, Japan wasn't as strong as they are right now. However, right now, after they played together in contenders, after they played together in the qualifiers, I think this team is now ready to compete against the best teams in the world, and it starts with South Korea.
There's a guy left, if you look at left top, there's a guy who waited since 1 p.m., which means we waited at least 5 hours. Before the broadcast started, so that's a long time.
That's even before production came here, so that's really impressive.
He was in a line before anyone. Of course, this entire building's open for other uses and things, but that's a long wait if you talk about things. That's exactly, the passion and the energy from the fans. It's all coming into the right place.
It looks like we are going to take a little bit more time to get both teams settled up. It is a LAN event versus an online setting, so maybe those kind of configurations can maybe a little bit more complicated compared to just LAN when both teams are on LAN or when both teams are online. But it is worth the wait, G-Clef, because I'm so excited, and we can hear the fans here as well. We have the sound set up so that we can hear the fans cheer and also the fans, just laugh. And
the future. Oh, Genji, Dragon Blade. Oh man, here we go. We've got the future right here in his hands.
This is so wholesome. I love to see it because, I've also seen a comment on Twitter.
Did you see that bottle movement?
Yeah, I
He's
saw that.
He's certainly a Genji player.
He has it in
Genji
him.
player. And I might not want to play in his team, but but still, it's great to see these moments.
And also, about the point, this is what the World Cup is all about, in my opinion. Like, yes, winning is important. Like, getting glory is also really important. But the community, like, making friends, enjoying with your friends.
He's 13. I think that was actually the signal. Okay,
yes.
Sorry to cut you up there.
No, it's totally fine. I'm just, cherishing the moment here because this is what the World Cup is meant to be. This is what the Overwatch World Cup is for. Feeling wholesome with the community, connecting with the community.
Exactly.
And just, you know, being in the same place with the players, feeling those vibes, man.
Yeah, having competition and also bringing everyone together for this great Overwatch competitive, and I think that's one of the best things about the World Cup here. As
you need to turn that on. You need to turn that on.
okay, we know the time. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. World's the best DPS.
Lip. I agree. I mean, I'll be a little bit biased here. I agree that.
Who's better, Sparkle or Lip?
Right now, Lip. I mean, last year it might have been Sparkle, but this year Lip is on a totally different level because usually you classify DPS players onto two categories. You either do the hit scan or you are the flex DPS. Dude, like, Lip is just a DPS. He can play Ashe, he can play Sombra, he can play Tracer, he can even play Genji. Like, what do you... Maybe throw Pharah into that list and you will have your full set over there.
Can you play the Junkrat? Can you play the other few available?
I'll ask
that we
Lip
don't really
after this
see?
match. I'm going to run to the stage and
I'm sure
ask.
he's so talented he can play anything, basically.
Pretty much.
Given to his hand. But I think we're just doing the final checks from all the gaming gears that they have.
Ooh, fearless. I have nothing to fear. That is actually very true.
So look at Winston. That looks like the tip of the iceberg on top. And then if you look down, that's actually fearless. Oh, some great artwork
Yeah, so
from both.
a lot of the fans are really committed into this, and I really appreciate that because, you know, we're all here for the fans.
Yeah, that rage. Better not go on someone else. That seems pretty scary to me. I think we're almost ready to set up with this.
I think
with the shot. I think we should be going to the game real soon. And
There
here we
we
go. The first
are.
map is going to be Lijiang Tower between Japan and South Korea, where we will actually, now that we know it's Lijiang, we'll have some air contest here, right?
I do definitely think so. I think that's also one of the reasons why Hanbin is being started.
Ah, that's right.
Because we've seen in the earlier matches today that D.Va is, well, no, go figure, right? D.Va is an effective counter to the Flyers, and especially if you can also employ Flyers of your own, then it's going to be a numbers advantage on the air. And with KSG starting instead of Plankton, I haven't seen a lot of KSG D.Va, so I assume that this will be a strategic advantage against Japan on the side of Lijiang Tower. But then we have to see what map we go first, because if it's Control Center, then it's not going to be... We don't see a lot of Pharahs or Flyers in general here, so it's...
I'm expecting Garden.
It's going to be Night Market, so we're going to have our Flyers.
We'll see. And then immediately we have PP.
They were about to do the team chant, but there's the
hype
PP.
is ruined.
Look at the spectator, they're like, why?
The hype is ruined. It's like, 1, 2.
Oh my god, this is so
okay,
fun
I guess
already.
we'll wait a little bit more. But we're seeing some... Okay, I think... I thought we got to see the team comp a little bit. I think there was a Pharah from Japan. And of course, we did see Lifeweaver, but I don't think he's coming out.
Yeah, probably not. And I just saw the hovers briefly, and it looks like Japan is going to run the Pharah. I haven't seen the tanks. What was the tank? Was it
I did not get to check all the heroes yet, so we'll get to find out real soon. But
yeah, so Japan was running the Flyers, and I saw Team Korea's composition. It was a Rhine Rush, which is kind of unexpected coming from Hanbin, because, I mean, I'm not saying Hanbin's a bad Reinhardt, but if you want to play the Reinhardt, it likely was going to be Fearless starting, so maybe they're just trolling around until the gates actually open, and we are back to the match here.
we're here. Okay, I'm pausing. And... Oh, Reinhardt's for now.
So it looks like Japan is actually going with the Reinhardt Rush. Okay, it looks, yes, this is how it's going to look like. So no Flyers on either side, and South Korea is going to match. So we are going to have a mirror matchup here.
Yeah, with Sombra and Mei is going to be only difference between the DPS. Nico Lip on Symmetra. They're staying after the teleport. Oh, Hanbin's ready in position
Yeah,
for the
they
hammer.
were ready for this, and early kills go the side of South Korea.
That's not the way Japan expected this to happen.
What a quick maneuver from South Korea. They were definitely...
Hanbin 60%. What in the world? That must have been about like 4 straight hammers.
Okay, Japan understands that they are not definitely going to win the mirror matchup, especially after they gave up so much ult percentage to the side of South Korea, so they are going with the Winston dive and with the Pharah. So this is a good quick change on the side of Japan. South Korea doesn't have very good air control, but there is Nico down on a snipe by a Sparkle.
So KSG has backed off. Oh, was not able to jump back. I thought it was pretty safe, but low HP, but kill picked up by Fielder at the end. Fielder actually turning into Soldier. Okay.
Again, so the Flyers is untouched right now, so they're doing what they can. But remember, G-Clef, we've talked about Flyers a lot today. Flyers are most effective when your team has uncontested control on the point. But right now, South Korea is the team that has uncontested point control, and it's going to be a struggle unless I think Barrage is going to be the only chance where Pharah is actually going to make a difference in this fight.
Yeah, it's going to be very important work. Yugi drops from which window? He's actually going to
okay, that is a start, and they have the Barrage, so this is going to be... maybe they don't even need the Barrage, they do use the Barrage!
Right before the ult was used. But so they're actually going to be just keeping those 3 ults available for South Korea. Japan takes it back.
Yes, Japan does good work on the side of Japan to use their composition to the fullest and taking that flip. However, South Korea, good ultimate discipline. They knew that this fight was going to be lost, and they didn't use any ultimates that they didn't need to use. And a good maneuver there, and Reinhardt is over there.
On the right point. Knew that they were coming through the teleport.
Oh, there
that Earth Shatter got you too. Few laps gone, KSG focused.
Yes, there is that pulse bomb. It goes wide. Yes, South Korea uses a lot of ultimates, but they will be able to flip the point. Chio has that sound barrier. Look at the crowds roaring out. Yes, South Korea also used a lot of ults, but so did Japan, and they are going to be basically doing the neutral fight now, and South Korea will be confident of that.
Again, collected ult usage by South Korea there. Now Doomfist from KSG coming, trying to contest for the point, but Chio still holding on to that sound barrier just as an emergency.
We are approaching last fight territory for Japan. They have to make a kill. Good. That was a good anti-nade for Cloud, but what a sound barrier from Chio. Lip takes Cloud down, and it looks like Japan is running out of sustain. Yes, Mint is there, but Mint can't save everyone.
Yeah, the sustain is actually better for Japan because of that anti. They bought so much time from Q-Loud. And Yugi still from the side, contesting for the spot, 99%.
Kuki needs to survive for the Barrage. Barrage is going to be there.
1 out of 2 DPS gone for both sides. Can you actually hold up? Pharah needs to work a little more. The Sparkle. Okay, there's a Barrage getting 2, but Sparkle actually getting 2 on the other side. So it's about to tank and the support left.
Oh, overtime Chio gets Cloud, so that is going to be no members on the... Oh,
Lucio turns into DPS. Now Nico already coming onto the spot, has Blink available, recalled away, and can't get to the control point first, going into South Korea's hand.
Nico had to recall because she was so low on health, and then after that, the recall was so far away that it couldn't come back in time. What an exciting first map for both sides, because I thought on the last fight, after that barrage especially, I thought Japan was actually going to flip and make South Korea go another fight. However, Chio was hiding there, and although, yes, the sustain was very low because it's only the Lucio, however, it doesn't matter if Lucio is going to take out all the members of Japan.
That Lucio is pretty deadly. And because Japan, they were scattered all over the place, South Korea, they just decided, okay, we move S5, we go all in. The fact that they all got antied means that they were all together on the same spot, which is actually really good if you think about how their teamwork is working at that moment. But moving into our second control.
Oh man, KSG playing the ball, but Lip is there with the Sombra. This is... Oh, KSG just stealth-countered himself into the Lip. Lip is also the best Sombra in the world! And Lip takes first blood.
And even Nico, super low, has to be back all the way, not even close. Struggling to find the support from the team.
South Korea getting that first cap. Look at Lip's EMP there. I mean, Kuki is also at 72. It's actually ahead of Lip. However, the point control is on the side of South Korea, so it is going to be an interesting competition for both Sombras on the EMP.
Yeah, we'll see as switching into Orisa. As Nico Kuki, the double flank can work in theory. Here's the EMP, 4-man EMP, really good. And can he follow it up? But
early EMP, but good coalescence for Fielder to keep everyone alive. So now this is Korea's turn. KSG falling low, Mint falls. KSG also looks like it's gonna fall back down, and only 3 members of Japan left.
Yeah, picking up the kills too loud against Gio, but that's only one support. Mint is also down, both Lucios coming
Remember,
back to spawn.
point control is on favor of South Korea, and it is also going to be Lip's EMP left to use. So whenever Japan wants to go get near the point and contest, Lip's EMP is going to be there for the aggression.
And now Japan again coming in, and there's an EMP from Lip, 4-man. And the follow-up damage seems to be okay. The rush is there from Q-Loud. Nico trying to cross the bridge once again.
No casualties on the side of Japan, so they survived the EMP. Good job for them, but they do have to contest the point. It's 67%. Nico is there.
Sound barrier early on from South Korea. They know that something is happening. And here's Sparkle ready with that Blossom from the back line, but not impactful whatsoever.
Good counter from Mint, so Japan is really impressive here. They didn't able to flip the point.
Oh, PSG. The point actually turning this around South Korea. They have wasted a lot of their ults. Coalescence keeping it alive. Okay, Liv still getting a lot more kills. I thought Japan almost had the point.
It is. It is not going to be wasted if you can win at 96%. I don't think Japan can actually touch here. And, oh, they managed to. So good on Mint. But however, taken down. Is there anyone else that can just make the Doomfist for desperation hacked into death? And it looks like it's just desperation touches for Japan here. Yes, good EMP, but it's not going to matter because everyone falls on Japan. It is Lijiang Tower is likely to go on the side of South Korea.
And there's Mint, the last Lucio surviving, and there's no one else on the point. Doomfist cannot come in time, and that's a straight 2-0 for South Korea.
What a great performance from South Korea. Yes, Japan is doing really well. I've seen a lot of impressive performances, like their ult usage, their ult economy. It is not Japan's like being bad. It is South Korea being, oh yes, yeah, you know, Japan has this. Japan has these much resources, so they are likely to do this. We know what they're going to do, and we are going to react in this way. And this is why G-Clef, South Korea has, the members of South Korea are called elite talents, even in the highest echelon of professional esports. This is an incredible game, G-Clef.
South Korea, they're making Japan look like they're not at the same level, even through the qualifiers. And Japan defeated all the other teams with a 2-0 score. And this is just the level that show a display of how good South Korea is right now with the roster on paper. And just by reading the paper, the names of these players, the history, the experience that they have so far on this competitive Overwatch from the league, from Overwatch League, you just cannot throw questions at this roster.
Yeah, it looks like Hanbin is taking his stuff, so I am boldly guessing a fearless sub in here. So we'll be definitely
Look how huge his mouth pad is. You can actually sleep on that.
Wait, that's not like a blanket?
It's a sleep bag. You can actually, wow, that's one of the biggest that I've ever seen.
But anyway, let's go back to the match and see how, talk about how good South Korea was, because it was impressive on all fronts. Hanbin wasn't on the diva like I expected to be because it was on Lijiang, but wow, what a performance on the Reinhardt. I think it was a little bit of a mind game as well, because Japan was probably also kind of expecting something like a diva or maybe the Ramacha here. Yes, the Ramacha you did see in Gardens here, but I definitely don't think they were expecting Hanbin's Reinhardt here.
Yeah, that's one of the things, as the Reinhardt starting with 60%. Of course, it took a longer time to charge up the Earth Shatter because Reinhardt was not able to contest and do any further damage source because the other 4 took care of the rest of the team so early on that except for that 60%, it took a very long time. But changing now Tank into Fearless, that's going to be another bad news for Team Japan, as they might actually change back into Plankton. But honestly, I think staying with KSG should be better in terms of teamwork and how it's going to be.
Again, I like Japan played really well. Like, although the score doesn't justify it, it's not that Japan played like bad. They had good moments. They did what they needed to do with their composition. It was just that South Korea was just better. So I don't think Japan needs to necessarily make any changes. It's just that, hey, the only thing that I would ask of Japan is not to get mental bloomed here.
I'm just still amazed and mind blown from the first control that we just had. Well, we thought we had Japan was going to be a lot more contest, but South Korea, they're actually giving, this is the match that we can kind of feel that they're actually giving a lot more power into play. There had a lot more coordination between the teammates. Seemed like the communication was totally on point. They weren't totally diving into the backline of the opponent, respecting the power level of Japan, keeping the control, making sure they take one step at a time, communicating through the team, and you could see that the team, we were questioning maybe they have more teamwork to pull through. Maybe the level of the teamwork is not 100%, but look at them playing LAN right now, and even with different roster, I'm pretty sure it's going to stay above 90%.
Fearless is coming in. So Fearless on Korea. This means more fear on Japan. I'm playing with my words here, but this is how good this player is. This player individually is your 2022 Overwatch League Grand Finals MVP. Currently playing on the Houston Outlaws on the Overwatch League. Runner-up for the mid-season madness. So just looking at recent form here, this team is just oh my god, I can't even find a good word for it. This is,
I mean, if you ask this guy, like, can you send us your resume? Like, these players will have it'll take a long time to receive their PowerPoint.
Well, look at Fearless's
because
resume.
They have so many screenshots and trophy titles.
He won the Overwatch League with Shanghai. He won the Overwatch League with Dallas Fuel. Now on a rival team on Houston, he is looking to win. He is on course to win the Overwatch League this year as well. I mean, yes, Atlanta Reign has a lot of say on it, and also a lot of teams will be looking to challenge that on the second half of the season, which will be coming after the qualifiers. However, no denying that this player is immense talent here.
Yeah, just going through the final check as we're playing LAN, so we do need some time to actually check all the gears. Of course, keyboard and mice, they do have to be functional for the actual game.
Also, quick fact, quick trivia, that whenever players get swapped out, they swap the hard drives of the PCs because
to get the settings, right?
Yes, for the settings. So it takes a long time for all the these graphic settings, for all the DPI settings, etc., etc. So they have a hard drive specified for that player. So they pre-configure it, and they come back to whenever that player is subbed in or out. They just use that hard drive for that player. So it makes the process a lot faster. However, there are some finer settings, finer tunings that they need to do once to make sure that everyone's comfortable playing their game.
Yeah, just to check that everything's working fine. All the keywords, of course. the buttons are being pressed and they're registering in game.
Also, you want to just be in the practice range for a little bit and shoot at bots just to make sure that you have that feeling. And also, it is one of the ways to test whether, hey, how am I feeling today? Like, just waking up to that day and how you're feeling like that, and actually coming into the practice range and shooting. Maybe not so important for main tank, but like even for main tanks these days, it is like how you feel when you aim and actually shoot is really important. So maybe if you're not feeling that good, you'd be like, hey, I'm going to play a little defensively, guys, so maybe you guys can cover for me. Or if I'm feeling really, really on point today, I say, I'm going to lead the charge today. You guys follow my back. So these kind of communications and these kind of preparations are really, really important. So, although we apologize for the delay, this is we just wanted to tell you that this is worth it.
Yeah, certainly. As I noticed that Fearless does have a pretty big path for the mice only, so it's not as big as what Hanbin had. But still, take a look at the gear that they actually have. You might actually want to catch on to those.
That fan wants a 15-minute match, not a map. A 15-minute match.
If you only count the game time, well, it might still be a stretch, but we'll see. If you only count the game time, I think the first control was about a 7.5.
They're playing with words here. They're like, yes, Sparkle is, you know, written in a very special way, and they're like, hey, Sparky.
Sparky is another nickname that you can always count at.
Wow, a lot of fans having fun here, and I'm having fun here as well. I hope everyone on chat, wherever you are in the world, is having fun here with us as well. We are getting ready to get that second map ready, and just because for the wait, I will spoil what the second map is. It is going to be Shambali Monastery for the second map. Korea will be on defense first. So it's really interesting to see what we have in store. Maybe Fearless Ramatra?
I think that's totally possible. As Fearless is, of course, known for a lot more Winston. But on this map, of course, I don't think... okay, Ramatra is certainly a good tank, but you can always switch into anything that he feels, I think, depending on the team comp. Maybe more support for the back line, leaving some more... There's still a potential of some more Widows to come out, or Lip Genji.
Well, I don't think we'll be having a lot of off-rolling today because, I mean, yes, South Korea, after watching that first map, you can definitely see that power levels on South Korea are just immensely higher than Team Japan at the current moment. But I think that the nature of South Korea versus Japan is that they just want to win classically, and yeah, yes, I do agree that maybe some long-range hit scans, maybe some Ashe on the side of... I don't think Widow, maybe Widow, yes, but Widow's a little bit of a too much of a riskier pick because of the recent nerfs on the current patch. Remember, the Overwatch World Cup qualifiers is held live on the live patch right now, so a long-range headshot on the Widow will not be guaranteeing a 200 HP kill. So we will, and it looks like we're starting the match.
Yeah,
very
this
soon.
Fenny shot is usually the one that we see right before we go in, and as you said, it is going to be Shambali Monastery for the second map. And of course, Japan, after that loss from the control, are the one selecting the map, as this should give some more signs that, okay, let's see what they're going to bring on this map, because South Korea, they can react to basically everything that Japan is going to bring again.
Yes, I just forgot to mention that like one of the biggest strengths of South Korea is in their flexibility. So when they constructed this Team Korea roster, yes, they have 2 tanks, so only 1 tank can play at a time. So maybe there is a little bit of a restriction on flexibility on that front. However, we've seen that even Hanbin can play main tank heroes. Why not for the other side? Why? I think that Fearless is a good enough player to be at least decent in all the heroes and in the tank role. So, and also on the DPS role as well, Lip is the DPS itself. Lip can play. Okay, if Lip plays Pharah, he is going to be Lip, like the DPS itself.
That's basically more heroes than anyone else from the qualifiers, but we do see Sombra switch, but let's see in 20 seconds what it's going to be when the gates...
Also, my question here is going to be whether they want to go to the forward defense and spawn camp. We haven't seen a lot of these in and earlier today.
All 4 matches before against Japan. But for now, Fielder all the way in the back. Seems like they are feeling okay. Just Sombra for the hack. Here's Lip.
So it looks like a semi spawn camp here. Lip wants to farm the EMP, but has to go to our early back.
I think they're trying to stall towards the first corner to the right. And there's Fearless just going off to the back alley. Okay, caught by the wall. Okay,
Fearless
saved by
is trapped, so low HP bars across the board.
But it's saved by Sparkle's own wall there. Keeping his tank alive, and KSG still okay. But
Sparkle taking out Mid. What a shot! And that wall is going to deny a lot of healing from the side of
great
KSG.
field from
Immortality
Q-Lao.
field there to save KSG. So good play by Cloud there.
Was able to keep that tank alive, only Mint, but just losing one in these kind of fights. You do have to back off. Luckily, the respawn's not too far away for Japan to push.
I think that was a really, really important play over there because now that KSG is actually has survived that early aggression, he is very low. He is very high on that ultimate. Look at Fearless right now. Fearless has 58, and KSG already. I was about to say KSG already has the annihilation. However, KSG is taken down, so that is not going to be relevant. Early Nano from Fearless. Yes, Fielder falls, but with purpose as Fearless is taking down every member of Japan. Yes, it is a team effort, but what a great understanding of the situation from South Korea. They probably knew that if they kind of delayed a little bit more, KSG will be using that annihilation to do the aggression. However, early Nano from Fearless, even though Fearless didn't have the annihilation at that time, was able to take down members of Japan. Now, South Korea is the team with the ult advantage. They have
ready in position for EMP.
They have the EMP. The EMP hits 3 and takes down Mint. Cloud with the immortality field, but it only delays the inevitable. And Chio with the rally is going to clean everyone.
And that's the thing, South Korea, they end up using all 3 ults available by Japan. They did take down both of the DPS from South Korea, and they do have a longer respawn distance. But can they actually manage? Okay, Fearless keeping the line and keeping the payload on the same place. So buys enough time for Lip and Sparkle to come back. As Japan still struggling to push towards the first corner. 120 left only now.
Remember, G-Clef.
Overclock by Nico.
Overclock
Can't find
is
the right
there.
target.
You have to
Some
make
shots
this
landing.
happen unless there's going to be another
Sombra.
Nano by Fielder there. Fielder already has Nano, so this is going to be South Korea's turn.
But on who? For now, it seems like Fearless seems to be the right target, just keeping the tank alive. There
you go. There is the Fielder Nano.
The Lip gone. Nico actually Mint. Sound barrier.
Good timing for Mint. That was almost an Ajax. And it will...
Nico takes both of the DPS out. This might be the chance for Japan. And it seems very like it as Fearless will actually survive. For now,
the Sacker kill onto Fearless is going to be very, very important because if Fearless did manage to survive, that would have been another fight on that corner. And with only 26 seconds left, excuse me, it will be the last fight. Well, it will be either capping point A or this will be the full hold.
I think South Korea will likely to jump down and contest. There's Fearless dropping down from the window there. Liv still in position for hacking. Has been contesting against Nico.
Both Ramachas have the annihilation. KSG anti-nated and slept so early. It ended early for KSG and Fearless. Very low, but still has that annihilation. Chio with that rally to keep Fearless up. And Chio is bloodthirsty, taking down everyone on the side of Japan. Fearless follows up.
What's happening? This brigade is actually the DPS, and the time's up. Not a single point is going to be taken by Japan, your South Korea. Yeah, buying all that time and wins that final fight.
What an impressive performance from South Korea. They did a forward defense. Yes, Japan was able to get through it. So this is actually kind of also praise to Japan because not a lot of teams were able to break through the early forward defenses of South Korea, but in the end, they did manage to break through it. But however, they took about like 2.5 minutes, so it was only a minute and a half, or even just closer to a minute, to make that push all the way up to 2 corners. And at the end of point A, South Korea, with the advantages that they already had, capitalized and made that fold hold happen.
Yeah. Nico's Sojourn was actually really good, winning a lot of the fights against the DPS, against Lip, sometimes against Sparkle, who was actually trying to focus the tank. KSG's Ramacha is very impressive. There are a lot of anti, but even through the anti, Ramacha was actually using the block, saving for that moment because you know against South Korea, you are going to be the tank that's going to be focused with that anti-nade. And many times they were able to survive, of course, with the help of some walls from happening from Kyuki. But still, you're still fighting against one of the best teams in the world. And Japan actually showing great signs here. Let's see what
Fielder,
happens.
Are you actually going to play that?
Okay.
Oh, man.
We do have Lip on Widow. Just for now. Oh, never mind. Not for long.
Not for long. Japan is on the spawn camp here. Let's see how long they can actually make this happen. Because time, they need to stall
Get back on
a
Sombra.
lot of time if they want to match, if they want to defend to the point to where South Korea was holding them.
Yakeshi actually hitting on both targets. Fearless Fielder going down at the same time. Sparkle Lip changes it back to from Sombra now to Echo, trying to break this first wall that Japan has set up.
Yeah, so good idea on Japan because they know that they have to stall as much time as they possibly want, because if Korea ever manages to cap point A, then that's going to be the end of the game for them. So Sparkle is on the tracer looking for any off angles, looking for double angles for South Korea to actually take advantage of. Mint is very low but is saved, and Nico Turret is able to take down Sparkle. So this early defense from Japan is working out really well.
A little too well, actually. Fearless jumped onto the back line. Q-Line gone. Okay, that might be the crack that South Korea needed to break Japan's wall. KSG still standing strong.
There is that rally. That is going to be KSG. Is very low.
As Japan, they gathered a lot of ultimates, but this was not the chance. They already lost Q Loud, and the damage was coming. Even for South Korea, they're still locked on to 4 other ultimates. Only rally was used there.
Yeah, exactly. So yes, credit to Japan for almost stalling 2 minutes actually. But however, Japan was not using any of their ultimates early, and also South Korea was not using any of their ultimates early, and that is the early Nano Winston over there. It forces the sound barrier from it and the and also the immortality field for Cloud, so it will not be able to save anyone now.
Yeah, Kyuki was not caught by the sound barrier either, was not caught where the damage was focused a little too early.
Japan has 4 ultimates,
And
but
we're
will
almost
they
there.
be able to use it in time? Because, ladies and gentlemen,
Lucio's coming!
it is the ominous music of defeat is playing for Japan. 2 meters.
There's a blizzard and the EMP used by Lip, so no one else can come.
Mid
2 meters away.
Cloud is there, the amplification matrix is there, but KSG is desperately holding on to dear life as he is contesting the
Yeah,
payload.
with that annihilation, and Nico trying to do what he can, but there's still a lot of members of South Korea. Okay, actually keeping the point. Fielder still alive. Sparkle's coming from the back, but only 2 back line available. Sparkle, what can you do against all these members? Okay, going to be going down against Kyuki, so about a minute left. Can you actually push all the way? Less than 3 meters away.
Both teams used all their ultimates, and it is going to be on the
One final fight.
Well, I mean, I do think that maybe if you do it quickly enough, maybe 2 fights, but it is going to be very, very important for Sparkle to land that pulse bomb on the side of Korea, or it may be up to Liv to make an isolated kill with that manual hack. Chio is approaching rally, so South Korea cannot afford to lose a member before that rally. The rally is going to be there. This is going to be their trigger. KSG very low. KSG down. Cloud down. Goki down. Mid down. And it's going to be everyone down as South Korea will be able to finish the match. South Korea will be your #1 seed in APAC-A. This is a dominant performance from the tournament favorite South Korea here.
And 2-0 win again for South Korea, undefeated from APAC-A qualifiers of Overwatch World Cup 2023. They are the roster. They look like the strongest clear favorite of the tournament, showing again in an offline stage of WDG Esports Studio against Team Japan, the strongest opponent in APAC-A.
Wow, I mean, yes, props to Japan. They actually put up a real fight, and I have to say this again, their 2-0 score does not just give them justice. Japan actually really did a good job, and especially I was impressed with that defense on Shambali Monastery, the early defense that took away 2 minutes of South Korea's side. Not a lot of teams can do that, and again, I just want to praise how much Japan has improved compared to the start of the season. And it looks like, yes, South Korea looks absolutely terrifying. Japan still looks like they're one of the best teams in the region, if not the second best. And they will be representing their region very proudly. And I did say this and I will say this again. They're looking like a world top 8 team.
For sure, Unknown, and you're on the right point, Nance. I actually, even though it was a 2-0, and Shambhala did finish much more faster than I thought, but Japan actually had a really nice hold. They were almost able to hold Korea from getting 0 point. 0 point in the first A point from Shambhala, which not many teams, not just in this qualifier, not many teams in this world can actually be able to do that against South Korean roster now, and that was very impressive from Japan. Of course, it did go towards South Korea at the end, but still the teamwork was there. We could see a lot of shining moments from Nika, Kyuki, KSG, and Q-Loud Mint. I think Japan did lose today against South Korea, but against any other opponent, they will be looking like the dominant victor.
Exactly. So we had 2 things today at today's third match of the day. We had, we figured out, we realized, once again, we got reassured that Korea is looking absolutely terrified and they are dead serious. They have their very serious face into taking back the World Cup. They are definitely, they're expected, they will go to BlizzCon, and it looks like not a lot of teams can match them right now.
Yeah, for a moment, I thought we were actually going into our third map. Maybe it was there was a potential, but the hype between the two teams, it was always there. Too bad we didn't get to ever see a push map in our qualifiers.
Exactly.
I mean, I was expecting this has to be the day. This is the last day. One of these three matches is going to have a push, but we just did not have a push whatsoever.
Exactly. So all of the official matches on World Cup qualifiers for APAC-A has ended in a 2-0. So we didn't have a single map 3. We did have a little bit of hybrids. We did have a little bit of escorts, but we did not have a push.
Yep, and that's going to be the result of the final night for us. APAC-A, Hong Kong 2-0 against Chinese Taipei. Indonesia defeating Philippines 2-0, keeping them up in 5th place. And South Korea proving themselves to be the best out of this group, as taking the 1st place against Japan, who's going to be now, with that win, the 2nd place. So we will actually be exactly mirror 5 down to 0, 0 to 5 from the win-loss. And
we actually have
even numbers.
We actually have the same standings for APAC-A and B now.
Yeah, maybe a little different in the map differentials, but yeah, that's going to be the final standings. And the top 3, of course, South Korea, Japan, Hong Kong, they will be moving into the next stage.
Yes, good luck to the 3 teams. I mean, as someone who is born and raised in the Asia region, I just want all these teams to do well. And for even the teams that are going to be eliminated today, I just wish them the best. I think there were a lot of positive developments for even those teams, and there are going to be opportunities next year. And I think the future is bright for them.
Yeah, and I'm so shocked from all the matches today that we had so many highlights, so many crucial fight moments that we could pinpoint. But God, Chio is a DPS.
No, I will correct that.
So
I'm going to correct that.
I'm so
Chio
scared.
is a DPS. Chio is a tank. Chio is a support. Whatever you need, you ask Chio, and he will do it for
Chio
you.
is totally the goat.
If you need Chio to eliminate the opponent,
makes no
he will
sense
be
to me.
a DPS. If you need a frontline, Chio will be the tank.
Front line,
If you need
middle,
healing,
and the back
Chio will
line.
do that for you. unless you had that kind of bet for the first death.
So my MVP is Chio from that match. Who would you say the player of the match is actually going to be from South Korea? If you had to choose one, like
Me.
I have to choose, huh?
For all the 6 teams? From all the 6 teams?
Or the last match, whichever one you want to choose.
For the 3rd match, I would definitely agree with Chio. But for the day, I want to give SJS. Just for that sleep.
SJS is
Just
Hanzo and
for that
Genji.
sleep.
Yeah, you just have to
kill.
bring that back. Okay, I do agree. It was pretty good, pretty good. Oh man, we went through all the matches of APAC-A. I hope you guys enjoyed as much as we did, maybe more, because this was packed action. And of course, it's all about love and all about the World Cup Overwatch. This is only the qualifiers. This is the first tournament, first few weeks of a very long journey. And of course, from APAC-A, we're sending 3 teams up to the group stage, and we'll see how far they actually go. We've got Hong Kong, Japan, and South Korea. We'll see how that goes. Those 3 teams might actually survive and go towards that BlizzCon stage.
Exactly. And again, I just want to mention that this World Cup is for everyone to just group up as one. And it's all about, you know, grouping together, making friends, and also winning too. But I just, especially with that LAN event today, I just felt a new level of wholeness. I just hope everyone we were able to do it justice and kind of bring that energy to you. Bringing everyone together is such a good feeling in the overall World Cup. And again, I am very honored to be.
Thank you, Unknown.
Yeah, I'm honored to be with you, G-Clef, and with you, chat, with everyone here. Thank you for being with us for the Overwatch World Cup qualifiers, APAC-A, and I don't want it any other way.
Yep, of course. And from the next stage, of course, this is going to be it for APAC-A, but there will be more to come until the end of the groups of the qualifiers, and of course, group stage happening later on towards BlizzCon. This is only a beginning. Again, I was so honored to be in the casting desk with you, Unknown, in the World Cup qualifiers. I mean, I've been playing the game and also watching Overwatch competitive since the very beginning, very beginning. I still can't believe that I'm actually here casting with you. It's been an honor so far, and thank you everyone for watching. This, of course, would not happen without you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for loving Overwatch and loving all the players from APAC Group A. And that's gonna do it for us. Thank you so much, everyone. We love you guys. Thank you for tuning in all this time for the last 2 weeks, and hope you guys enjoyed as much as we did. See you guys all in Overwatch. Thank you for watching.